All right, how's everybody doing? I saw this comment from Michael Montero. And shout out to Montero. You know, nothing against him. I just happen to disagree with him on this. And we're going to discuss why here live on Ring IQ. Put a link out there. Hopefully, my good friend Mork is alive on the other side of the world and available. This right here. And I don't agree with this because all of these are important components, important elements when it comes to many burning topics in the sport of boxing. And we're going to get into why that is shortly. We're just going to let the list populate. Mm-hmm. Give it a second. I think there's a lot to be discussed here. I think that, I don't agree with the whole comment, to be completely honest, I have a difference of opinion when it comes to this view. Actual facts was good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what it is, actual. Over here eating these chicken nuggets, chilling. And we're about to have a discussion based on Michael Montero's comment on Twitter. Why is it that these aforementioned subjects that he detailed in numerical order even get discussed in the first place? Is there a precedence for boxing fans to concern themselves with how much fighters make, what promoter they're with, what network they fight on, who they vote for, and what their demographics are? Is there any precedence for boxing fans to even be discussing this kind of stuff? We're going to explore this while I eat these chicken nuggets. No, I didn't see Dark Horse vid. What did he do a video about? Well, he did a video about me or something? I don't. Hold on, let me. Wait, which Dark Horse you talking about, bro? Because there's two people on here with that name. All right, I know you're talking about. Which video? Because he got a few up right now. I'm looking at it right now. We got a few videos up there right now. I was good, Jack. Yeah, we just gonna let the list populate, man. We're gonna let it populate. Because I think that this is a subject worthy of discussion. There's a reason that you're constantly seeing boxing fans talking about these 5 particular subjects in today's era of boxing, where before you didn't used to hear about this type of stuff. But there is a reason for this. It's not like guys really, in the Mayweather era, right? You had guys bragging about Mayweather's money, right? They were literally bragging about how much money he was making. And how much money he was making wasn't actually relevant to any conversation. It wasn't actually important to a fight happening or not happening because it was already established that Mayweather's the A side. So why are you bragging with another man's money? If that were what's going on here today, then I could understand Michael's comment. But that's not what's going on here today. There's a reason that fighters' purses are discussed on a regular basis in today's era of boxing, and we all know what it is. At least here on the relay we do. We ain't sitting here worrying about what a Jermall Charlo makes. We don't care what he makes. The only thing we care about is why he was offered $7 million to fight Demetrius Andrade and he decided not to take it. You see, the only reason, and we're going to start off with the fighters' purses, the only reason that fighters' purses are constantly talked about in today's era of boxing is because that's what determines whether or not that fighter is being reasonable or unreasonable when that fighter walks away from an offer. If Eddie Hearn is offering you $7 million flat to fight Demetrius Andrade, we want to know why you didn't take it because we wanted to see that fight. Now we're not going to get to see that fight. That's why that kind of stuff gets talked about. When Gervonta Davis, who at that time had never been on pay-per-view, and he still hasn't, by the way. Who knows when he will, but we know that he wasn't at the time that offer was made to him. When Eddie Hearn offered him a multi-million-dollar payday to fight Tevin Farmer in a one-off, multi-million-dollar payday, what did he do? He decided not to take it. It's for this reason that the fighters' purses get discussed in the first place, because we want to know why certain fights aren't happening, given the kind of money that you're being offered in retrospect with the kind of money you normally make. Now, if you normally make that money, then I can understand why you walked away from it. It's a drop in the bucket for you. But if you ain't normally pulling in $7-8 million a fight and somebody offers that to you, yeah, the boxing fans are going to be curious why you decided to walk away. Well, guys ain't sitting around talking about people's money for the sake of talking about people's money. We're talking about people's money in reference to fights that do and don't happen and why that is. That's the only reason that comes up in the conversation, at least these days. I remember before there were guys in the Maypac era, they used to brag on Mayweather's money as if it were their money. Now, if you were talking about something like that, then I could understand. But those ain't the kind of conversations that are happening here today. There's a reason that people are talking about fighters' purses. And it ain't because they're bragging on their money. It's because they want to know why certain fights aren't happening. The same applies to what promoter they're with. The only reason special focus is being lended to what promoter a fighter is with is because the fight fans know that depending on who that promoter is, fights might not happen. That's just the reality of it. If you got a PBC guy and you got a top-ranked guy and you know this, then you know that there's a chance the two fighters won't fight. They might not. All right, give me a second, gentlemen. I think that this is kind of I don't know if it's cognitive dissonance. I don't know if it qualifies as that, but it is kind of naive to say that boxing fans don't need to concern themselves with what promoters a fighter is with when based on who their promoter is, that tells you who they will and won't fight. I mean, it does. That tells you what network relationships exist and what network relationships don't exist. I'll say this, Sporting Advantage, that's recent. It wasn't always this way in boxing. You say that you agree with that, and what I'm telling you is that if you have an Eddie Hearn fighter and you have a Frank Warren fighter, in all likelihood, those two fighters won't fight. And that's not my opinion. That's the way things work. That's how it is in today's boxing environment. So if you see that fight fans are talking about promoters and what promoter a fighter is with, it's because they know, depending on who that promoter is, that tells you what fights that fighter has access to. If you have a Frank Warren guy, not only is he able to get fights, obviously with his stablemates under Queensberry Promotions, but he also has access to top-ranked fighters. He might even have access to Golden Boy fighters. But there's certain fighters that fighter won't have access to based on what promoter he's with. That's why that gets talked about in the first place. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this thing. It's taking a little while to populate, but either way, we're going to start the discussion. You know, the only reason that people are talking about what network a fighter is with or what promoter a fighter is with is because they know that these are important elements to making a fight. You have Errol Spence himself who sat there in front of a podium. He was inebriated at the time, but he was the one who made networks a hot topic himself. So it's not like the boxing fans are talking about it for some other reason than the networks themselves make themselves relevant to the conversation. If you have a guy who has an exclusivity contract with a Showtime or an exclusivity contract with a Fox, don't expect that fighter to pop up on another network. They won't. I was good, Jack. What's good, Lisa? All these different talking points that Michael highlighted, these are relevant talking points to today's boxing landscape. I mean, they are. It's not like people are talking about this for some other reason. They're talking about it because, they're actually interested in that stuff. Nobody really cares what the fighters are making. The only reason they talk about what the fighters are making is because they want to know why certain fights haven't happened, don't happen, and aren't about to happen. That's why that stuff gets talked about. If it wasn't for that, if the fights was happening, wouldn't nobody be talking about that type of stuff? Nobody would be sitting around talking about promoters and purses and networks and demographics. Nobody would be talking about none of that stuff if everybody was fighting everybody. But because everybody's not fighting everybody, that's why that stuff gets talked about. All right, go ahead, Ahmed. What do you think about it?
How's it going, bro? A long time. What's the list about? Is it about it's a comparison of yes. What's it? Let me just read when it comes to fight.
Hey, yo, salute.
All right, what's going on, Intangible?
Yeah, just read the title. So, fans are too involved in the sport is the question.
I mean, I guess look, read. You got to look at the tweet from Michael. It says, when it comes to fighters, here are some things I could care less about: how much they make, what promoter they're with, which network they're on, who they vote for, their demographics. If only more fight fans and both professional and amateur media agreed.
Well, I think I think that that's pretty much the case with most sports. Fans are going to be outraged. In other sports, you have rules changes that are more frequent that fans are going to be more outraged with, that they're going to be more inclined to voice their opinion on. Contracts, for example, in separate sports. They talk about this player deserves this amount of money for the cap space of this team.
Yeah.
I think that's just pretty much how things are, and how much fighters make and what promoter they're with and which network they're on to a certain degree, depending on the stipulations of their contract, do matter in some cases.
I want to add this, Intangible. I do, because if you don't see these particular elements that Michael highlighted, there's a reason that you don't see sports fans when it comes to other sports talking about these things. And you know why? Because in those sports, it's purely competition. The best teams play the best teams. Doesn't matter whether we're talking about the NFL, the NHL, the MLB, or the NBA. You don't have to worry about none of that. You know why? Because everything is in a tournament format. The best.
Julius.
Yeah.
You know what? I was exactly going to say that. You beat me to it. If this was another sport, there would be no need to be talking about stuff like this. Look, I'm a big football fan. In America, they call it soccer, but very rarely people mention stuff like a weekly salary, and those guys get like 200, 300 grand a week. The only reason this is an issue is because fighters and promoters have made it an issue. If they all were, say, doing things behind closed doors and deals weren't, coming in the way of so many fights, I don't think many fans would care about money, but...
Well, look at I want you to look at this comment. I want you to look at this comment. Wayne Hennessy says boxing is a business first before it's a sport. If that's true, right, if that's how you feel, Wayne, then you shouldn't wonder why the boxing fans often find themselves talking about the business of boxing as opposed to the sport of boxing. You can't have it both ways. If you're going to have people constantly say boxing is a business, then don't be surprised when boxing fans talk about the business of boxing.
That is true.
It's a common sense argument at its base. That's what it is.
In boxing is pretty much an event nowadays. Now, to a certain degree, it's always been that way. You'd have certain fighters try to travel overseas to try to garner more support from different constituencies. But Nowadays, boxing is more like an event. It's more like a rock concert. It's more like a ticket sales sort of thing. How much can you profit off of what opponent, what venue, which city, which fan base, who to cater to? That's pretty much how it is.
I want to read Saif Bud's comment. Boxing is more like a dice game than a sport. I agree and I disagree. I agree in the sense that you're right that it's a crapshoot. In boxing, anything can happen. Anything can happen, dog. Almost anything. So in that way, it's like a dice game. But the reason that it's a sport is because there's still a pecking order. There's still a hierarchy and still elitism that is obvious. There are certain opponents that you expect a Vasil Lomachenko to beat, right? There's still certain opponents you expect a Tyson Fury, a Terrence Crawford, a Regis Prograis. There's a certain level of opponent that you expect that fighter to be able to beat. And because of that, that's what keeps it a sport. There's still elitism. It's not a free-for-all. There's still a lot of elitism in boxing. There's still a pecking order and a hierarchy of rank standings. Based on that, it's still a sport. It's just that if you have people who like to defer to boxing as a business more than a sport, okay, then don't be surprised when boxing fans find themselves talking more about business than sport.
Collins, Tyson actually didn't unify with Selden because the WBC belt was vacated beforehand. Now, if Tyson had retired after unifying with Selden, his career probably would have felt incomplete because the Holyfield fights did not occur. Whether they went his way or not, those fights ultimately had to be fulfilled. Those are the fights people look forward to most.
And if my memory serves me, he fought Selden. If my memory serves me, I want you guys to fact check me on this. But the reason that he fought Selden was, I believe, Holy was the mandatory challenger to the WBA title. Unless I'm mistaken, please fact check me. But that was kind of the point of that fight. I don't really understand why Tyson was stripped of the WBC title because they paid Lennox Lewis step-aside money. But the story is, as soon as he walked into that ring to fight Bruce Selden, he effectively vacated the WBC. I don't understand why. If you paid Lennox, why you? I don't understand. Like, why y'all stripping him of the belt?
Well, I mean, I guess that's I guess how it is. I mean, the WBC though, they act upon their own discretion, so it is what it is.
I mean, yeah, like if we see the stuff that they do today, you can only imagine what they were doing yesterday, man. It was just Wild Wild West stuff, man.
Well, yes, today's era of information, they can get away with less back then. There was more under the table dirt they could get away with, and that wasn't revealed.
Yeah, but just back to this conversation because I get tired, right? Of and I got nothing against Michael, by the way, but it surprised me that he made that kind of a statement when he knows just as, if not more than we do, that there's a reason that these subjects are prevalent subjects in today's sport of boxing. He knows that the sport is just.
Do you
agree
or disagree then? I was going to say, I didn't hear what you said at the beginning. Do you agree or disagree then, what you saying?
I disagree because there's no way you follow this sport and don't know how these elements affect the sport. How much money a fighter makes determines whether a fight happens or not. What promoter that fight is with, that also affects whether a fight happens or not. What network the fighter fights on, that affects whether a fight happens or not. Who they vote for, I don't really care about that. But the fighter's demographic, that also matters to the sport because that determines the fighter's marquee value and which venue is ideal for that fighter's fights. There is a reason that today's boxing fans know all this stuff, and it's because these are important elements of today's era of boxing. They weren't important elements yesterday, but that was yesterday. We ain't living in yesterday. We living in today, where if you got a network contract with Fox, you know what? Maybe you can't leave.
They were important elements of boxing in the yesteryears, but we live in the age of information today. Fans are now more inclined, more curious, and now more available to learn about this kind of stuff and to find answers as to why fights do or do not happen or what condition a fighter is in.
Yeah, like, look, you don't need to be Bert Sugar to know that Queensbury Promotions, Matchrooms, they're domestic rivals. So don't expect to see a whole lot of cross-promotional fights between them. You like, today's boxing fans, the Brits over there, they know that better than we do. They've been seeing it for years. They've known since before we did that Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren are bitter rivals, perhaps in some ways even more bitter than Al Heyman and Bob Arum. Perhaps, all right? And the only reason they know that is because it's relevant to what fights do and don't happen. At the end of the day, it's about the fights. It ain't about the promoters. It's about the fights. But if people end up asking, well, it's because certain fights ain't happening.
Yeah, I don't think it's as big an issue because Frank Warren's stable is not as big. Let's just say Al Heyman's stable and Bob Arum's stables are much bigger. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, and I get what you're saying. The only problem I have with this is it never used to be like that, and it's just bad how boxing has become now. Because I remember when it was...
Ahmed, train stations before you used to have to put a token in them.
Yeah.
When you go to the token booth clerk. Guess what? All of that is over with now. You use Metro cards now.
Yeah, I'm just speaking as a fan. Like I'm a guy that would pay to go to fights, would pay for pay-per-view. I won't be doing that now in the future. If I don't get to see the fights I want to see, I'm not gonna watch. I'm not just gonna watch any old fight. That's the bad thing. Like I'm getting more interested in UFC now. Like I'm trying to catch up to what's going on with UFC. Like from a fan perspective, it's not good. But when you see guys justifying some of these decisions, when some of these fighters make the wrong decisions and promoters, it's not a good look. That's the bad thing.
Well, let's put it this way. I want to say this, all right? A lot of the holdup, believe it or not, is coming from one place. Because Bob Arum works with Oscar De La Hoya and Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren. That's a good chunk of boxing right there. That's a good chunk of it right there. Now Eddie, he don't work with Frank a whole lot, but he do work with Oscar. He do work with Bob. And that determines what fights we as fans get to see. So to say that fans don't need to concern themselves with this stuff, well, if they don't, they're not concerned with the sport of boxing, because that's what determines what you see in the sport of boxing.
Well, and part of it, and I've kind of just sort of numbed myself to all of this by pretty much learning why cross-promotional fights don't happen and the steps that need to be taken in order for them to happen are. They need to maximize the fighter's earning potential before they can put all that stuff on the line so that they can make sure that they can squeeze a little bit of the juice out of them after if they lose in worst-case scenario.
But that, I'm going to tell you something. That, for example, look at it this way, right? That is the course of action you take when you view the fight as a gamble and you don't view your fighter as capable of winning it. Why are you thinking about your fighter losing? I'm going to ask a question. Do you think that Bob Arum looked at Jose Ramirez as, he's going to lose that hooker fight? No, he believed in his product. That's why he sent him over there. The same applies to Vosdick.
But part of the reason, though, is because they're not huge financial assets within the top-ranked stable. If it's a guy like a Lomachenko or Terrence Crawford who have a lot of marquee value in terms of the sport today and are viewed in very high esteem by most fans, then they're going to be less willing to in some cases.
Okay, now I'm gonna to your point, right? They're not huge financial assets to the stable. That is true. Danny Garcia is not a huge financial asset to the stable. He's not even a pay-per-view star. He's never been on pay-per-view. For all this, he beat Khan and he beat Matisse, and he has a great resume. Even though I'm like, dog, y'all cats is living in the past because that ain't the Danny Garcia of the last 3 years. But point is, this is not a guy who's bringing in all this money. I mean, he's not that big a ticket seller. He's not a pay-per-view attraction. Yet they still won't let him cross the street. They didn't let Adam Kovnowski cross the street. What did his manager, Keith Connolly, say when he was offered a fight with Anthony Joshua? Oh, he's spoken for. He's going to be fighting in a PBC show against an opponent that has yet to be announced. An opponent that wasn't even a champion. Couldn't have been because there were only 2 champions around at the time. And you weren't going to fight either of them.
Well, the PBC is the extreme side of it. So, I mean, I don't really have much to say in retort to that because we know how the PBC gets down. They are way less willing to do so. And Heyman is going to do whatever he can to get all the advantages he can in the negotiations. That's pretty much his entire shtick. Basically, just helping his fighters in negotiations to get the biggest purse possible. And also, he sort of set up the PBC to be a sort of a league,
well,
hence why they've sort of tried to do the PBC belts.
Well, yeah, but I mean that goes back to what I said earlier, that when this kind of subject matter, right? For example, I just did a video about how Stephen Fulton is going to fight Angelo Leo, right? Now, in that video, I'm mostly talking about what that means for the PBC, because one way or another, that's an in-house PBC fight. One guy's a Mayweather Promotions fighter, the other guy's a Tom Brown fighter. Tom Brown, he does all his business with Al Heyman, basically. So in that situation, all right, we could talk about the fight, but if we start talking about a division where you want to see unification fights and the champions are on different sides of the street with different promoters that have different platforms, yeah, we got to talk about that, because that determines whether or not we're going to see those fights. That's why we haven't seen Crawford versus Spence yet, and Michael knows that, which is why I find it curious that he would say, oh, boxing fans don't need to worry about that. Well, the promoters are the ones that give us a reason to worry about that, because that's what determines what fights we see and what fights we don't see.
Yeah, I want to say this. I think he's always. I've been listening to his show a lot. He's always making the comparisons. He's always trying to defend the comparisons when people make with UFC and boxing, but this is not a good outlook to give an answer. Like, you're basically downplaying a lot of problems which are basically just in boxing. And
well, for starters, he's comparing. This is what I find funny. If you're going to compare, if you want to use UFC as a parallel for boxing, you're starting off on the wrong foot, because UFC is merely one promotion and every UFC fighter is under the same stable. So of course they're not going to have those issues. They're fighting under the same promotional banner, all of them.
Yeah, and when people make those comparisons, you gotta take it with a grain of salt. Like, especially if you're a boxing fan or a journalist, like you can't say what they're saying is all wrong. Obviously, there's two different concepts and is comparing two completely different things. But there are things I think that UFC are doing which boxing obviously could have maybe stuck to, or could learn from. Whereas there's other things, like you said, there's only one promoter in UFC, so obviously you can't really make the same.
Boxing is a bigger, and I don't think that UFC and MMA fans like to hear this, but they need to, because that's the only way you're going to get it. Boxing is a bigger sport than UFC, and that's why it's more fragmented. And because it's more fragmented, you end up with more politics. UFC is doing very good financially. I think Dana White is a very smart guy, so I'm not taking a shot at MMA or UFC. But what I'm trying to communicate is that's small potatoes compared to boxing. In boxing, you have different outfits that have multi-million-dollar deals. The UFC, they got one deal, the ESPN deal. Okay, well, in boxing, you got Matchroom with the $100 million Anthony Joshua Sky Sports deal, but at the same time, he's getting all these millions from DAZN, and that's just one fighter with that outfit. There are bundles upon bundles of outfits that have bundles upon bundles of conflicts of interest. So you cannot compare what UFC is doing with boxing when UFC is essentially one promotional outfit. Not all of MMA. UFC fighters don't fight Bellator fighters, right? You're not going to see a UFC guy fighting for a Bellator belt. No, what you might see is a UFC fighter leave the UFC to go to Bellator, like Chris Cyborg did. That's what you might see. But there's no cross-promotion between them.
I think it's more to do with America, what's going on in America, like the sports. Boxing was for a long time the leader in the combat sports in America. I think to a degree UFC may have overtaken it. At the same time, the biggest boxing fights I still think are probably maybe as big or bigger than the biggest UFC fights, but it's very far and few between them, especially in America. Outside Wilder, Fury, maybe Golovkin, Canelo in the last couple of years, I can't think of many big fights that actually, what's the word? It's not to do with pay-per-view sale, but like kind of got the headlines in the sports world. There were a couple of, I think, Canelo maybe fights.
Now, this is what I want to say to Kuja. I don't know how to say your name, bro, but I read what you said, right? and this is what I'm gonna say. The UFC is essentially matching their own fighters against their own fighters. The PBC doesn't do this because they think that you have to marinate everything to no end because they want to get the most out of the situation. And most of the time, they end up sabotaging themselves. I mean, look at what happened to the Charlo versus Hurd fight. Now nobody gives a damn because y'all waited too long to make it. Perhaps you could have got a diamond in the rough. Perhaps you could have shelled out a star if you keep the guys fighting. But because you don't keep them fighting, they all stagnate. All of them. They all stagnate. Fights lose momentum or fights get ruined. I would say that the better example for what UFC does as far as matching their fighters against their own fighters is Top Rank, because that's what Top Rank does. They match their fighters against their own fighters. But they're also willing to work with others, which is why I like them.
My problem with boxing is obviously belts and the weight classes. That's an old argument that I don't even think I need to get into. But apart from that, I'd say undercards. And when you compare the cross pay-per-views with UFC, you look at their cards, you have like a stacked card with pay-per-view fights which got 50-50 undercard fights. With boxing,
Ahmed, you're talking preference because I'll tell you right now, I will not watch a UFC fight. Anybody that
no, I'm talking about the
listen,
undercard.
bro. Anybody that paid for Khabib versus Poirier, I feel sorry for you because that was trash.
I'm talking about boxing undercards. I can't remember the last time you had a proper stacked
I can't
card
remember the undercard for any MMA fight I've ever seen, to be honest.
MMA fan, though. I'm barely a casual fan myself, but I could tell by the names on there and the fights like this weekend. I think that's a good card. I'm not going to say all boxing undercards are trash. Like there were a couple when HBO and Showtime, and they did do a couple of cards. I think they weren't too bad. I think. Let me think. Who else has been around? Fox. I can't think of many Fox cards that have been that good. But I don't know. It's tough to say because some people don't really care about the undercard. But I think that just one thing that stuck out to me, and I think the pay-per-views are maybe a bit better, but. Boxing, I don't think there's many pay-per-views in America that really we agree that should be pay-per-view. Like the PBC, a lot of those pay-per-views they put on, I don't think they're really worthy pay-per-view worthy fights. Like,
Okay, now, if a person tells me that they prefer to watch MMA to boxing, by all means, go ahead. That is your prerogative. But we're not talking about preference. We're talking about infrastructure. And the reason that UFC can continually match their best fighters, not the best fighters, their best fighters against their best fighters is because that is literally one promotional outfit. It's not complicated. It's not like it really ain't hard to understand. Yeah, you get the best versus the best in UFC, which I commend Dana White for doing, but all that is in-house fights. That's why you get to do that, because they're all in-house fights. It's not like it ain't complicated. It ain't like he figured out a secret. You run the UFC. All your fighters are UFC fighters, yes? So you're all fighting under the same banner. That's why you can have those kinds of fights.
that's true, and I think UFC could end up like boxing if it does, fragment and separate. Like
I don't
same
know,
as
Joe. I don't. Hold on, wait a minute, Joe Strummer. You're childish, bro. Keep saying stupid shit, and I'll just block you. You could come on here and talk to me if you want. I'll post a link for you. There's nothing to be salty about because I actually think Dana White is a smart guy. But I'm telling you that UFC is literally one promotional outfit. So you're matching your own fighters against your own fighters. All UFC fighters have a UFC contract. Why? Because it's a promotional outfit. It's one promotion. UFC is not Bellator. It's not K1, and they don't work with them. They don't work with Risen. When you have a UFC contract, you have a UFC contract. That's why you can match the best versus the best of the UFC, because they're all under the same fucking banner. It's not complex. Now, if I read one more fucking stupid comment, I'll just mute you. Now, if you want to act like an adult, I'll leave a link right here for you. And you can come on. There you go.
yeah, the comparisons you can't really make because they're two different sports. But I do get it. Like if you're what's the word? if you're a combat sports fan, I don't think at the moment I'd say boxing is having a good year. I don't think the last couple of years have been good. Like they've been the odd few good fight, but I thought 2017 was a really good year, and since then I don't think he capitalized.
Well, look, boxing fans, this is what I'm going to say about boxing fans. And I think this is different for UFC fans. UFC fans, they like their sport more. Boxing fans are often ungrateful, immature. A lot of times they're ignorant. There's a lot of reasons a lot of guys watch a lot of boxing, and sometimes they don't even got nothing to do with boxing. Whereas UFC fans, they're generally combat sports fans. That's what I noticed. That they're just fans of what they're watching. They just want to watch what they want to watch. They don't bring in all this extra crap that boxing fans do. That's the difference. But that's also because boxing is an older sport than mixed martial arts. There's a lot more to it than mixed martial arts. It's older, has a lot more history.
What about as fans? Do you think fans got the right to complain, or does it depend on?
As long as you're a customer, you have the right to complain because it's a product that you purchase and you have the right to give in a customer review.
Yeah. I pay for Sky Sports, and the boxing content on there has been trash for the last couple of years. And I think mainly one of the reasons is because of the deal they got with only Sky Sports, got with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. And at the same time, there are other things I think have not been great. Like Box Nation was a good channel, but since then, I think they had some sort of problem. Frank Warren dumped them. There's not really another outlet. Sky have kind of picked up now the international content, but I think there's just a lack of quality of boxing in the UK, personally. I think British boxing has gone downhill. Anything half decent is pay-per-view here.
And I would
that's
say,
fine.
and I would say that I would, you know why I would disagree with that? Because what's the premise for that comment when many of the premier heavyweights right now are coming out of what country? Out of what region of the world? Tyson Fury is number one. Tyson Fury is number one. Anthony Joshua is number two. You got Joe Joyce and Daniel Dubois working their way up. British boxing didn't go down. If anything, went up.
No, that's true. That's true. The heavyweight division is the one thing I think I agree. Outside
I wouldn't limit it to the heavyweight division because look at the super middleweight division. Two of the world champions are from where?
UK,
yeah. I think the heavyweight division is the main thing.
Let me say this, Ahmed. When I hear British boxing fans say that they think that British boxing has gone down, you must be talking about what cards are happening in the UK because British boxing is actually better than it's ever been. And British fighters are actually getting better than they've ever been.
Yeah, that's what I meant by. In the UK, I don't think the standards, the cards in the UK have been good. Apart from the heavyweight division, I can't complain. Wherever the fights are being held, like that's something that I think the heavyweight division has turned around. Because 10 years ago, if someone was to say all the champions or the top guys would be from the UK, I wouldn't believe you. Now, if you look at the American heavyweight division and compare it to the top UK guys, I think there's about 5 or 6 guys you could argue that beat outside Wilder. I think about 5 or 6 UK guys you could say beat the rest of those American heavyweights.
Okay, now let me paint a picture for you that some people might not like, right? I'm going to paint a picture for you, and it gets me excited because I like the idea of boxing being more like the Olympics and less like a business. And this is why I'm very happy with the state of boxing now. The state of boxing now, right? The scene has changed. Fighters are not limited to having to come to America to make money. That means you get good fighters from all around the world. You get good fighters from Kazakhstan. You get good fighters from Uzbekistan. You get good fighters from Russia, from the UK, from Australia. It's wonderful to see it. It's almost like blood sport, but with boxing, you know, that you got all these great fighters from all around the world. And you know what? Not all of them got to come here and kiss a network's ass to make money. Murata don't have to. Murata chilling over there in Japan, selling out venues and getting money. And he's the man where he live at. So he don't even got to come here and try to appeal to people that don't care about him. I like that. I like that Anthony Joshua has the following that he has in his home country. So if all else fails, if these ungrateful American pricks don't like you, you don't need them. I like that. Boxing was never like that. You got to remember, I'm older than you. Boxing was dominated by Americans for the longest time. It wasn't a world sport the way it is now. Now you have male and female fighters coming from all around the world, literally from all around the world, from Africa to Australia to New Zealand to Europe to North America and South America. You got fighters from all around the world. The best are coming out. And they ain't stopped trying to appeal to these Hasidity Americans. So I actually think the British boxing scene is booming because the fighters were fighting for supremacy before. They are achieving it in this era. The top 2 heavyweights in the world are from where, bro?
Yeah, I'm not saying he's in the worst state. I just think we've seen better days. That's apart from the heavyweight division. I know you're saying we got a couple of champions in the super middleweight, whatever division, but I remember about 5-6 years ago, there was we had about almost 20 champions in the world. After I think this was around about when I think Joshua was about to fight Dylan White. It's around about that time. I was just saying that I don't think boxing obviously is what it is in America as well. Like time changes, and I think right now I don't think it's obviously what it was 3-4 years ago. There's obviously a lot more different networks now. A couple of years ago, I remember there's only HBO and Showtime that were just running the show, and I remember that was the divide.
Here's reality. Here's what you're talking about, right? 5 years ago, right? What year was it? 2015?
Yeah.
Okay, 2015. Let's think. What kind of fights and what kind of money was being made in the sport around that time? Because since 2015 till now, we've seen at least 2 pay-per-views that cracked the million pay-per-view buys. We've seen at least 2 involving the same 2 fighters, Canelo and Golovkin. If we go back a little further, Canelo and Chavez sold 1 million pay-per-view buys. That crap. That sold 1 million pay-per-view buys. If we go before that, to 2015, in late 2015, Canelo Alvarez and who sold 900,000 pay-per-view buys? Who? You know the answer.
2014,
2015.
15.
Miguel Cotto.
Yep.
The pay-per-view did 900,000 pay-per-view buys. I've just surmised the last 5 years of boxing for you. And that's just stateside. That's not counting what Anthony Joshua was doing in the United Kingdom. He was breaking records, wasn't he, Ahmed?
Yeah. In terms of pay-per-view, I think the Klitschko fight broke the Hatton Mayweather fight.
And
I don't know. I've heard.
All right, let's
fight.
recap. Let's recap. In 2017, Anthony Joshua broke the record and with Klitschko for how many pay-per-views had been sold on that in that piece of land, right? In 2019, he broke the record again.
I heard the Klitschko fight did more. I don't know. I've heard 2 different. One article said the Ruiz fight did more. The other one said the Klitschko. I'm not sure.
Let's put it this way, Ahmed, to not nitpick and split hairs. That's essentially saying that more people in the United Kingdom are buying pay-per-views than they have ever bought. That's what that means. If you broke a record in 2017 and the reports coming out in 2019 are that you either matched it or surpassed it, that still means the same number of people are buying pay-per-views over a 4-year span of time. And that is more people than have ever bought pay-per-views in the United Kingdom.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Mainly due to Joshua as well. He's a crossover star. Probably one of the biggest sporting stars in the UK. And I don't think there's probably been a bigger, maybe boxing star. But you'd have to go back to Ricky Hatton.
But do you see the point that I'm making about where boxing actually is financially? More people are spending money on boxing around the world than before. The place that's suffering, which is why everybody keeps thinking that, the sport's not. No, it's America, bro. That's what you're talking about, America. Because
America, a lot of people viewed America as the capital. I know.
Well, that's what changed. It's not that. It's not. Hold on. It's not that people aren't watching. It's that Americans aren't watching. Not the world. No, yeah, Inoue. Look at the numbers that he did with Nonito Donaire in his country. Look at that freakish, astronomical set of numbers. Numbers that are unprecedented for a fight that Americans didn't care about. No, the Americans didn't care about it. Guess what? The Americans didn't have to. The Japanese's money is just as good as the Americans. We
Over
don't need.
here, it's all about fucking NBA, NFL, NBA and all that stuff.
The point that I'm making, which is
Do
very
you see this
simple.
comment? I just want to ask you guys a comment in the chat. Like someone is saying, do you think Mayweather Pacquiao
MLB.
killed boxing? Because a lot of people do.
No, I don't,
agree with
because
that.
Golovkin and Canelo sold 1 million They sold 2 million pay-per-view buys between them. Canelo sold close to 1 million with Miguel Cotto and 1 million with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Wilder
Yeah.
and Fury in their second fight, even though they didn't break even because they paid those guys too much. That's what that problem was. But as far as did people buy it? Yeah, close to 1 million people bought that. Close to 1 million. So
I do think
go ahead, Andy. You ain't get to say a lot. Go ahead.
I do think the Klitschko brothers did hold down the heavyweight division from Americans.
I'll say that. The Americans weren't fond of them, but it didn't stop them from making money because they did. I mean, that the bottom line that I'm trying to show people is don't confuse what happens with America with what's happening around the world, because the world is a bigger scene than America. That's why it's possible for Murata to be over there and get money. That's why it was possible for Anthony Joshua to get the kind of money that he was getting without an American following. He was out earning every single heavyweight, and still is, in the division with a domestic following in a country that could fit inside of Texas.
So do you think guys like Murata, I don't know the market landscape. From a financial point of view, do you think they could make more money not fighting in America than
I think that they shouldn't fight in them. I'll go as far as saying that they shouldn't even bother fighting in America. What is the point?
Especially with Inoue. I mean, the smaller guys don't get as much appreciation.
I mean, the reason that you see, this is the thing. People confuse what's going on with, is it good for the fighter? Bob Arum is interested in bringing a Naoya Inoue here because he sees he's an exciting fighter. He thinks he can get Americans to like him, but that's why that's going on. As far as Inouye's ability to make money, we've already established that. Look at how many tickets he sold. Look at how much viewership he got. Ridiculous ratings. Ridiculous. The kind of ratings that Jamal Charlo ain't getting over here. Caleb Plant ain't getting them either. All right? Sean Porter, Hold on. I'm saying that these American what American fighters are popular in the American boxing scene don't come close to the domestic following that an Inoue or a Murata has. So do they need the United States? No, the United States needs them.
And do we really have any domestic fighters that are popular like that? Like stars? No.
I was going to say, like, Murata, all right, this is a good example. This guy is he's fighting in front of 30, 20 million, whatever, fans. But a lot of the guys in that division who are ranked ahead of him or the champions, I believe, are based in America. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean anything because if you're a fighter, you should fight anyway. But I'm saying, does he need to concede that concession to fight guys like he fought Brand in America, I think, the first fight. And I believe he fought someone else in America as well. Like a guy like that, who I don't think is a world champion. He had some sort of vision of the belt, but wasn't actually fully fledged champion like Inoue is. And Inoue is already unified as well, and he's traveled the world. Like, would you say a guy like that would have to cross to America? Because Murata, I think Top Rank also got him as well.
I told you the only reason that Top Rank. Look, let me not even put it that way. The only reason that an American-based promoter would look at a foreign fighter and try to bring him over is because he's trying to make himself money. He thinks that he can sell this fighter because he already has a following to fall back on, and he's exciting. But don't confuse an American-based promoter trying to capitalize off a fighter with a fighter needing to come here. Murata don't need to come here. Why do you think the rematch was back in Japan? Like, what the fuck?
I get you. Yeah. Oh, he's trying to make him a star outside where he's already a star. Like I don't believe people are saying AJ needed to travel for the world fight. Like, I don't believe AJ needed to do that. And even the Ruiz fight or the Miller fight, whatever, I think he was one guy, like, who obviously didn't. He was already a superstar in UK and he could fight anywhere he wants. And like I think the need where people used to say you have to come to America. I think that was a different era. Right now, I don't think it's the same as it was.
That era died somewhere between 2015 and 2018, and that's a fact.
Mayweather era, basically after the
I
Mayweather.
mean, I don't want to just say Mayweather era. It's just that, okay, as far as sensational boxers that we've produced, right? The guys that were like, they weren't just great at their craft, they actually knew how to command an audience in their own way. They had marquee value, right? American based, born and bred fighters, right? Okay, that's Floyd. Since Floyd, who else has been Floyd? Who else?
And the
Keith
thing about
Thurman?
Floyd is that he had an X factor. You know, he was flashy,
Well,
he was
Floyd was
cocky, he talked a lot of
special.
shit.
Floyd was like, look, I don't want to
Like,
hear about Floyd's character flaws because we all got character flaws. It's
no,
just that
no. Here's the point I was trying to make: is that I think in America we appreciate characters like that more. You know, we like a guy who's loud, we like a guy who's out and about, who's willing to make their voice heard, who's willing to talk a bunch of shit. We like that kind of stuff,
I'll say
and you don't
Floyd
really
had the
have
work
guys like that
ethic.
nowadays.
Floyd had the work ethic, and I'm saying it that few American fighters have now. I'm not thinking of Sean Porter. Sean Porter works his ass off. So does Terrence Crawford, Jamel Herring, Shakur Stevenson. Them young guys, they working their ass off. But what people like to represent as America's best, or at least, I mean, some Americans like to do it, is PBC fighters. And what are PBC fighters? A bunch of guys who blow up in weight between fights.
Who
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
wanna
Like,
have success without his work ethic.
Yeah.
yeah, like Mayweather didn't just become whatever Money Mayweather overnight. Like that was after hard years of hard work. Also, at the same time, he put the work in and the years. He also had the right guys around his weight class that were good dance partners. Like guys like De La Hoya, guys like Hatton, Marquez, Cotto, Pacquiao. These guys got big fan bases. Like Crawford and Spence both, I believe, won their titles on the road in the UK. Like, if you were to say that about 10, 15 years ago, like two of the like, arguably top 10, whatever, welterweights or pound for pound in some people's eyes, who were to win their titles abroad like that, you wouldn't see that like back in the 90s or 2000. I think the landscape has definitely changed and the fighters as well that are being produced
And
are now
it's
coming up
no, it's
different.
not that. It's not. It's. I mean, I'm telling you, no, it's not none of that. It's that things happen in cycles. America dominated the landscape in boxing for decade upon decade upon decade upon decade. It's become a world sport. And now other fighters are dominating the market, not the Americans. And everybody thinks that because the Americans aren't the captain of the ship, that the sport. No, there's still people getting millions upon millions of. Look, Sky Sports by themselves, before DAZN even came into it, right? Sky Sports by themselves guaranteed Anthony Joshua $100 million. $100 million. That was just Sky Sports in the United Kingdom. That's not counting whatever DAZN is putting up for this guy.
That's the deal he got in here up till what was it 2021? Didn't it? Yeah, that was the deal.
But that's the
All right.
point.
All right.
That's the point I'm making now, Ahmed. Show me an American fighter with $100 million contract here in America.
You haven't got those guys coming through. Like you haven't got a.
Exactly. Does that
Maybe
mean
that was the last guy. I think.
Does that mean that boxing is in a bad place? No, that means that American boxing might be in a bad place, but not boxing. Anthony
That's
Joshua's a boxer, ain't he? He's a boxer, right?
Perception. In America, a lot of these people probably don't know boxing outside the boxes in America. Yeah, I agree with you. Boxing is obviously a worldwide sport, and that's what I think the UFC fans are going by. The boxing they see on the TV and the guys who are fighting in America, they think that's all that represents America, where there's a lot of very good fighters. If you look on the pound for pound list, a lot of them are either Middle Eastern or either they're from Asia, like did I say Middle? I meant Eastern European, yeah, or Asian. So it's a lot of better fighters now are coming from different parts of the world or
And now
whatever.
let me address Walker. I disagree with you, Walker, because you're thinking of certain promotions, right? You are like you're thinking of a specific set of fights, a specific fights that you saw that were coming from a specific place. The other thing about quote unquote boxing fans, right, is that a lot of them aren't boxing fans. Because if I see, right, for example, If I see a guy like a Joe Joyce, no, I'm gonna say Daniel Dubois, fighting a guy like a Lardy, I'm not gonna complain about that. This kid is 21 years old and he doesn't have a lot of fights and he doesn't have an amateur background. He's supposed to be fighting Lardys, but you have quote unquote boxing fans that'll look at that fight and say, "Oh, that guy's a bum." I mean, how do you even call him a bum? He's undefeated. He hasn't lost yet, but he's a bum. Boxing is one of the most underappreciated sports watched by the most ignorant of fans, because when I was a big MLB fan and I was on my Yankees shit all day, I never had to deal with talking to people that didn't understand the sport. The same was true when I was a big NFL fan. When I was a big NFL fan, I was on my Giants, my Jets, and my Green Bay shit. Those were my 3-string teams, and occasionally I watch a Buffalo game. I think that was when Fitzpatrick was with them. I never had to deal with talking to an NFL fan, regardless of what his team was, that didn't understand the sport. Boxing is the only sport I know where the people that watch it don't know shit about it. Literally. UFC fans know more about UFC. UFC fans know more about UFC than boxing fans know about boxing. You got he got the red naked choke Kimura. He got the arm, like they know the shit. Boxing fans will sit here and tell you that guy's a bum. You never even seen him fight before, bro. How is he a bum?
The worst thing is, some of these guys are quote unquote media as well. Whatever those guys as well. Like that's what makes it. I can't see those guys in any other sport, like covering events or getting a press pass. Like that's just the bad thing about boxing. It's a bad look for boxing. I don't know. Maybe it's because boxing is not a mainstream sport now. But the fans and some of the guys in the media as well, like I don't see that.
Boxing, to be honest, right? If you go back to what Joe Frazier said, God bless him, when he was alive, he summed it up in so many words. I'm trying to remember what it was he said, but he was basically getting at what I just said. Boxing is a sport where the fans is just terrible. Boxing fans are terrible. I'm sorry, but they are. They are. UFC fans appreciate UFC more than boxing fans appreciate boxing. And I have to concede to that, because UFC fans, I don't know, maybe it's because it's a newer sport being marketed to a newer generation. So I don't know, maybe it's that. But one way or another, boxing fans have always been ignorant assholes. They ain't never been different. And no, I'm not going to agree with that, Riddy. And it's not all sports, because a baseball fan still understands baseball. A basketball fan still understands basketball. A football fan still understands football. Whether you're talking about American football or soccer, they still understand the sport. Boxing fans will watch a guy with a 5-0 record fighting a journeyman and talk about, oh, the journeyman's a bum. Bro, he has 5 fights. Who do you expect him to be fighting? Who do you expect him to be fighting?
Do you think is how do I put it? Do you think is to do with is it to do with just them being casuals, or is it just guys that are just dumb generally? Because I've seen it from some hardcore fans or so-called hard whatever.
I would say that the reason for it, in all honesty, is because boxing in the past was motivated by different things than other sports. You don't play boxing. That's the first thing. Boxing ain't NFL. It ain't ML. Like, nah, bro. It's it's a sport, but this is the deadliest sport in the world that causes the most casualties, right? And people attach I hate to say it, they attach pieces of themselves to boxing, and that's why they're emotional as opposed to being sports fans. A sports fan is a sports fan, feel me? If I'm a Yankees fan, I'm a fan of the Yankees. But you got guys that, you're not even a fan of the fighter that you bigging up. You a fan of something else, and you're using him as an ambassador for that. Whether it's your area code,
can I
something else.
Address this guy? Look, this Oscar guy. Look, he's saying go to the UFC. Why can't I watch both boxing and UFC? See, that's the type of thing I don't like from fans, and you see on both sides of the shit.
Look, Ahmed, before you say anything, remember, what kind of channel is this?
Yeah, I get you.
Just answer for me. It's rhetorical.
The boxing channel.
All right. Have I ever done videos about MMA?
No.
Have I ever done videos? Just yes and no answers. Have I ever done videos about UFC?
No.
Nah, right? Do you think that I'm gonna do a video about Masvidal versus the other guy? I don't even know the other guy's name. Do you think
I
I'm?
was addressing someone in the question.
No, I'm not.
Whatever.
No, I'm not. I'm not aiming it at you. I'm aiming it at him.
Yeah, all right.
Do you think that Ahmed? Do you think that I'm gonna do a video about Masvidal and the other guy?
No, Usman. Yeah. You're not going to do it.
If Oscar Masturbation is such a big UFC fan, he should ask himself why he's watching a boxing channel. Because I mean, I don't like, and I have nothing against the sport. I actually respect the hell out of Dana White. I respect his hustle. I respect his work ethic. I respect what he's done for his trade. I actually respect the hell out of him. I have nothing against the UFC at all. I'm just not a fan of it. But if you're gonna try to troll a boxing fan, what you have to ask yourself is, okay, why are you watching a boxing fan? There's not gonna be a point in the day where I'm watching what you're watching. It's not. I'm telling you, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I will never pay 60, 70, 80, or $90 to watch Khabib lay on people. I'm not gonna do it. No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna pay to see him lay on people because I respect Khabib. Like, I think he's a man of principle. I respect him not just as an athlete, but as a human being. I respect him. But ultimately, if we're talking about entertainment value, no, I'm never gonna pay to see you fight. It will not happen. And that's not that's not
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, obviously you're a boxing fan, you're a boxing channel. Like, that's what I don't like as well. It's the UFC fans who come over here and try and bash whatever.
Well, I know, and why do you think I say they feel insecure? Because I have nothing against their sport. I think it's good that Dana's doing what he's doing. I like his hustle. I like that he's being a maverick and he got his Fight Island. I respect the hell out of that guy. But don't get it twisted. Like, you gonna worry about what's going on in boxing before I worry about what's going on in the UFC. Because I don't watch, and I have nothing against it. Now, if Holly Holm is fighting, then I watch. But that's only because I follow her as a boxer.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say. Like, say if someone gives UFC a compliment and they want to watch a UFC card because they think a UFC card this Saturday is better than whatever a boxing card. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't need for those guys to be getting trolls like or start taking shots at the UFC. Whereas if it's the other way around, then
see, for all these guys who talk about how the UFC is bigger than boxing, just tell them this: the biggest star in the UFC is Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Literally the biggest star in the entire sport. Dude, there are people in the UFC that are calling out Ryan Garcia to a fight.
Yeah, Henry Cejudo.
All these dudes in the UFC are out here talking about how they want to go over to boxing and fight Floyd Mayweather, or they want Floyd Mayweather to come into the UFC more often than not.
Yeah,
like
they need, like, look, and I don't hate, and I'm literally not hating on them. But why is it that a UFC's fighter's biggest purse did not come in the octagon or the UFC under like it didn't? It came in a boxing ring. I'm sorry, but
they might be fucking him up.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not trying, and I don't hate the sport. I like that Dana White is the hustler that he is. I respect him. But don't get it twisted, Brody. Y'all more concerned with what we think about than I'm like, bro, like, I'm not paying for that shit. I'm not paying to watch men in Speedo, and I respect them. I know that they'll beat somebody up, but I am not going to pay cash money for that product. It won't happen.
No, I don't pay money for boxing matches anyways. I just go online and stream them. I mean, good way to, secure your fucking cash. I mean, shit.
I don't blame people. In America, the pay-per-views are almost $100.
Yeah, bro. The pay-per-views are always $75 for fights like Spence versus Garcia. And for the average unification fight between Spence and Porter, they're not even the two best fighters in their own weight class.
I don't think that was a pay-per-view. I think the only pay-per-views in the last couple of years that PBC put on, and you could justify with Pacquiao.
I wanna help low key NY. I'm gonna give you a perspective, bro. This is real facts. Oscar Rivas made more in the Dillian White fight than most, if not all, of a UFC undercard. Over $1 million. And Oscar Rivas is not a star. He ain't a star in his own country, much less Dillian White's.
And did you hear what Dana White said? Where he said, "Fighting is an opportunity, not a career."
Yeah.
That's telling.
I mean, that should be telling people like, and once again, I'm not counting their money. I'm just trying to, if you really want to know which sport is bigger, count the money. That's how you know. That's how you know. Like it ain't complicated. Show me a UFC fighter with $100 million deal like Anthony Joshua, please. Please do it.
I don't even really think I personally need, like, I know what you guys are saying and whatever. I don't even really need to or do that, like make the comparison. We all know boxing is a bigger sport.
I
and all that.
don't
Just,
either. UFC
I'm just
fans do it. I don't do that. I don't judge their sport harshly. I just give them numbers.
I don't like the fans, and I think it happens in boxing as well. It's both sides. I think the boxing fans are probably worse.
No, because unless a UFC or an MMA fan comes in here talking to me about MMA, it won't even cross my mind. Look at every live that I've done. Unless an MMA fan, right? And I have nothing against him. Love your favorite sport. Why the hell shouldn't you? You know, love it. It's what you watch. Yeah, but that's not my problem. You on a boxing channel talking about MMA.
Yeah, that's casual. That's
the hell wrong with you?
Yeah, those type of fans are casual. Now, I was just saying, like, the boxing fans are really dumb. Like, I watch other sports as well, like, and obviously the UFC has got a lot of casual dumb fans as well. But like boxing fans, you will see some of the dumbest shit coming out their mouths, and these guys supposedly watch the sport like a lot more than casual fans. Like, that's what surprises me. Like, you don't get that with other hardcore fans in other sports. Like,
well, I'm gonna put it to let me bring up this comment from Joe Strummer. Here's an example. Joe Strummer thinks that the glory days of boxing are limited to what he experienced because he's bringing up the De La Hoya versus Vargas fight. He said it was the biggest block party ever. Boxing will never be that exciting anymore. And what I'm trying to communicate to him is you do realize that boxing is a world sport. And for the 90,000 people that were in the United Kingdom in attendance for Klitschko versus Joshua, they're living the glory days, or they were that day, because boxing is not all about you, Joe. You understand? It's a big world that's not limited to what you think, but you don't want to accept that. And I'm like, yo, then what are you doing here? That's what I'm trying to say, bro.
Dave Allen makes more in his purses than most of the guys in the UFC undercards.
That's a fact. And Dave Allen is making more money than some elite level mixed martial artists. That is literally a fact, bro.
But it's a real shame because you have these UFC fights like selling millions in pay-per-views, like $1 million or something like that.
And Dave Allen sucks. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. God bless him, but he is trash. He's an abomination to boxing. He's an embarrassment.
That was a good body shot. It was a good body shot he gave Lucas Brown. Don't be like that. That was a good body shot. Came out of nowhere.
He drugged Lucas Brown. Lucas Brown would have beat him otherwise. I'm just saying.
Come on, Lucas Brown is. I was just going to say this. Andy made a good point. Like, the pay-per-views are doing $1 million plus. I don't get how that works. With $80 pay-per-views, how are the fighters not getting paid more than what they're asking for? They should be. Like, how does that work?
Dana keeps most of the money, bro. I mean, it's not complex.
I mean, they got to maximize the They got to maximize the
tomato head ass.
Yeah, they got to maximize the gate and all that as much as they can with those big purses, or rather big prices. I mean, I think Wilder Fury too, of course.
Look, John Bones Jones, right? For as long, and I think he's a good fighter. I also think he's a dirty fighter because he keeps getting popped. That's what I know about John Bones Jones, right? He's an elite level guy. This guy, for as long as he's been reigning as what he is, a champion of some kind, and as long as he's been in the industry, he's pulling in paydays that likely are less than what Dillian White gets. And Dillian White is not a champion.
He tweeted that he wants to get paid as much as Wilder is, and that's what I was trying to say. Like,
and the thing about it is, Wilder is not even a popular fighter here like that.
That should be telling people something, man. Like,
bro,
yeah, that's a good point. Wilder's like an unknown guy in America.
But why the hell would Francis Ngannou? If you're Francis Ngannou, you're a mixed martial artist. Why would you even entertain fighting Dillian White? Because you know Dillian be getting money and you don't. That's why. Shout out to Dillian White. I love that guy.
John Jones's highest purse is $500K.
What? What?
Yes, that is
Oh my
literally
God.
his highest purse, 500K. He has never even come close to entering seven figures.
Hold up.
That's what Luis Ortiz got against Wilder in the first fight. I believe it's something like that. So that's not a good look.
I'm speaking numbers. I'm speaking facts. Like, look, the UFC guys, right? I'm pretty sure that they have other arms of revenue because they have patches on their kits. I don't know what they call them for UFC, but in boxing they're called kits. They have patches on their kits, so I'm sure that they have other arms of revenue and other ways that they get money. But at the end of the day, if you really want to know which sport is bigger, just look at the money that's being generated, and that should answer your question. Now, if you still find yourself asking questions, it's because you don't want to believe what I'm telling you, but it's a matter of fact. It's a matter of fact. Up until recently, Canelo Alvarez, up until recently, because I believe it changed, not by much, but it did change. Up until recently, the biggest sports contract for the biggest dollar amount in a contract ever signed was what? A boxer. A boxer. Not a soccer player. Well, even though soccer guys, they get money. Like, they get buku money.
It was Mayweather, and then it was Canelo.
Canelo. It was motherfucking Canelo.
All right. Before that, Mayweather had that shit going on for a long time. Like, he's getting paid more than everyone. Soccer, basketball, whatever.
Wow, they take their sponsorship money, IBT? Great. That's crazy.
I'm gonna respond to Sporting Advantage. I'm gonna be honest. A fighter on John Jones's level shouldn't be getting guaranteed 500K.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. Like, let me see. The most he sold in pay-per-views was 860,000. He should not be getting like under $1 million guaranteed.
Yo,
No way.
I think
bro, I'm
Liam's-
glad you said that because they're not looking. It's like you gotta hold it like look. As long as he's been doing what he's doing and the kind of numbers that he's put up in the past, let's hypothetically say he gets $5 million. That's still small potatoes. That's small potatoes, bro. You should be getting more than that. For as long as you, why you think he said he want to make what Wilder making? And Wilder sucks, by the way. I'm mad.
You know what I would like? I would like MMA to have a similar structure to boxing when it comes to these, like sanctioning bodies and whatnot. Instead of having everything just UFC and then everything else under it.
Well, honestly, that creates even more dysfunction. Now, of course, the pay isn't, as much of a mess, but at the same time, when it comes to the sport of boxing, there is a complete bullshit, fake, fraudulent ranking system. Fights aren't made. At least it's a more fan-friendly sort of. It's a better draw, the UFC platform, than boxing. Now, boxing is more prolific than the UFC since the UFC is just a company. But I don't think the UFC, as long as the UFC is making good bread, they shouldn't change what they're doing.
I mean, look, it benefits Dana White. It certainly benefits Dana White, and he's the boss. So, I mean,
I want to say this as a fan. Do you prefer? Obviously, look, they're two different sports, and I don't need to say that. But preference from a fan's perspective, do you think they're getting more worth for money in America? I'm just talking about America. So this is obviously because UFC, to my knowledge, is more based in America than it is. It's not a worldwide sport, or if it is, it's not as global as boxing.
I want to ask a question, Ahmed. How many times have the Saudi Arabians stepped in for a UFC fight the way that they did for Joshua versus Ruiz and the way they wanted to for Pacquiao versus Garcia?
They are obviously they've never. That's what I'm trying to say. UFC in America obviously is big. I don't think it's big outside America. Obviously, boxing's bigger.
I mean, I'm telling you it ain't. I'm telling you it ain't. But
no, I'm saying as a fan, going back to what Michael Montero, the tweet you said you put out or posted, like some of the things I'm saying as a fan. So should we be worried about stuff like purses or like I don't?
It goes back to what I started off the video saying, and I don't know if you caught it, but like I said. There's only one reason that fighters' purses have become a talking point in today's era of boxing, and it's because that determines what fights do and don't happen. We aren't talking about people's money because we're interested in their money, but we want to know why Jermall Charlo, who's not a pay-per-view attraction, whose reported purses don't equal this amount, why would he walk away from $7 million to fight Demetrius Andrade?
Didn't Canelo offer him 12?
Yeah, I wanted to see that fight.
Yeah.
That's why we're talking about that
Yeah,
person.
that's what I'm trying to say. I don't see that with UFC fans when they talk about UFC fighters. I do see some casual fans talk about boxers, purses, and that because of the top ranked cards. Because those guys were like, "What was they? Really undercard fighters." With some of them top in main events, but you see it more in boxing, and that's what I was trying to say. Like that when people are making the cross comparison, because in UFC, I don't think there's a need to be talking about purses as
But
much as they do
once,
in
all right,
boxing.
I'm gonna break this down for the slow people in the chat that think this is a UFC versus boxing conversation, and these people are literally this stupid that I have to say it again. UFC is one promotional banner. That's why you can have all the in-house fights till the cows come home because they're all under the same kind of contract. Boxing is not like that. In boxing, you have different promotional outfits that still have to fight for the same belts as other outfits. That's the difference. You're not going to see a UFC fighter fighting for a Bellator belt. You're not going to see a Bellator fighter fighting for a UFC belt. That don't happen. In boxing, you got a matchroom fighter, you got a PBC fighter, you got a top ranked fighter, you got a Queensberry fighter, and they all fighting for the same belts. That's why it's different. They're all fighting for a WBC or a WBA or a WBO or an IBF. They're all fighting for the same belts because boxing is a bigger sport. That's nothing against UFC, but you shouldn't even take it that way because it was never about UFC. It was about boxing.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you. Obviously, that's the thing. As a fan, I do prefer one belt like the UFC, but obviously, the two different sports. Obviously, we're not trying to make it like I see some of the people in the like have misconstrued what you're trying to say. You're just saying it's a worldwide sport or whatever. And obviously, that's a
What I'm
fact.
saying
Boxing
is
is.
you cannot use UFC as a parallel for boxing because UFC is only one outfit. They can make all the fights they want because all their fighters are what? UFC fighters. The way that all of top ranked fighters are what? Top ranked fighters. And all of Golden Boy fighters are what? Golden Boy fighters. The reason boxing is so fragmented is because there's more promotional outfits, whereas UFC is just UFC. They're
Yeah,
not going to
Yeah,
have that problem.
you
Black
can't.
Law.
You can't.
I,
Can I
I
just say
want,
you can't have one. You can't have one belt in boxing in this day and age. The boxing has become way too big. Maybe you could cut it down to 3 or something like that, rather than 4. But you just can't do one belt per weight class. I personally think you could maybe cut down some of the weight classes. I think there's too many weight classes, but with the
Look, I
belt,
don't think.
I
Look,
don't
look, look,
agree.
yo,
look,
I,
look. No,
I,
no,
I
no,
just
no,
want to
no. No, there's a perfect number of weight classes because weight classes ain't the problem. Networks are the problem. Not it's not the weight classes. It's not. It's not even that there are so many promoters. It's not that either. It's that networks mess it up. Networks have their interests and they try to get the promoter to cater to their interests. And in order to maintain the relationship, that's what the promoter does. He's more worried about delivering to the network than delivering to the fighter. The fight fans want to see fights. They don't actually care about the networks. But when you know that a guy always fights on Showtime, well, don't expect him to pop up on ESPN. That ain't gonna happen.
Well,
No, I was just
I think
saying.
wait. I think the root of the problem isn't necessarily the networks. That's definitely part of the issue, but the root of the issue is what the sanctioning bodies do. Now, in the 1980s, I think it was the WBA that mandated the WBC champion. So the undisputed champion, what was the undisputed championship was forced to be made. There was forced to be an undisputed championship, and the two champions from each sanctioning body were forced to fight. Like I was saying, because of the fact that sanctioning bodies don't have real ranking systems, they can be bought and paid for, they can be fucked with, all that kind of shit. There's no way for them to actually mandate the other champions, and if you are a champion, you're not in the ranking systems because they need to spread the champions out so that they can build super fights by saying, well, hey, this guy's the IBF champion, that guy's the WBA champion, they've done this and they've done that by winning this belt and that belt. So that's the issue.
But that's the problem you get when you got 4 alphabet organizations or whatever. My thing is this, and I'm just speaking for myself. So if you disagree, you could disagree. I just personally think there's too many weight classes. If you compare the two or other sports, I just think it's hard to keep up with some of these weight classes. That's just my own opinion because I used to think it's too many belts as well. But then when you look at it, boxing is obviously now a global sport, and I do get why there are more belts than there are. Obviously, I get why there's more than 8 weight classes as well. I just personally think the gap has gone a bit too big, and
Yeah,
like you see a 25-pound jump between 175 and 120. I mean 200, and then you see some of the other weight classes. But I think they could bridge or get rid of a couple of weight classes. That's just my
yes,
opinion.
I do actually disagree with Ring IQ that. Well, okay, in terms of the best fights, actually yes, in terms of the best fights being made, sanction or the amount of weight classes is an issue because if you look at the minimum weights, those fighters are much more reluctant to pay the sanctioning fees for these belts to be held. That's why I mean there has been literally absolutely zero defenses of a unified title belt in the last 10 years of a minimum weight champion or a strawweight champion.
All right, now I'll say this. This is why I disagree with your point, right? If I had to tackle the bane of boxing, right? The bane of boxing is not the politics of the alphabets, because the alphabets bend to where the money is coming from. Now, where's the money coming from? The money is coming from the networks. So if you have a network that's pro unification, pro cross promotion, if you have a network like that that says, look, man, we're not going to keep putting money up so that Jamal Charlo can fight guys from 154. We're not going to keep doing that. If you give it, either you get him in here with a champion, I don't care where he's from. We'll put the money up, but you have to deliver in the ratings. If you had more of that going on, the sanctioning bodies and whatever shenanigans they pull, they would acquiesce. Because remember, the only reason that the WBA, for example, insists on having so many world titles in circulation is because they want to have a world title per promotional outfit. You got Joe Joyce over there at Queensbury. He's got WBA gold. You got Manuel Chaw over there in Germany. He's got WBA regular. You got Anthony Joshua over there at Matchroom. He's got the full WBA. Then you got Robert Hellenius. He just got WBA gold for, where's he from? Finland? Or basically PBC, because it looks a lot like he's with the PBC now, right?
And
you got Omar Figueroa's little brother. He's got the fake version of the WBA. Who's got the real one? MJ Akhmadaliev, who's over there with her, I believe it's a Matchroom. I think he's a Matchroom fighter. I believe he is. I don't know if they pinned him down to a deal yet. But the reason the sanctioning bodies insist on having so many trinket titles is to cater to the individual promotional outfits and their commitments. And who are their commitments to? The networks. The networks don't want to let content go to another network. But at the same time, all right then, network, put the money up so that they'll come to you. You don't want to do that either. Okay, then you're always going to get abysmal ratings. You either all in or you not in. You got a network like Fox.
But I mean, what I'm saying is going to force them to sort of acquiesce and cater to what the sanctioning bodies want. That's going to force them to go out of their comfort zone and try to work with other people.
This is the thing, though. The sanctioning bodies, right? They can't make the networks acquiesce, but the networks can make the sanctioning bodies acquiesce, because what do the sanctioning bodies want? The money that gets poured into boxing. Where does that money come from? The networks.
Yeah. I mean, it also comes from them having so many different belts, so they have so many different guys paying sanctioning fees.
Yeah, but where do the guys get the money to pay for the belts?
Networks, of course.
The networks. So the real problem is the networks are dividing the landscape of boxing because they're not actually concerned with the sport of it and marketing it as a sport. They're just worried about, oh, well, we don't want a guy from your stable going over there. All right, bro, but if you're not going to put up more money over here, then what kind of product are you shelling out? What kind of product are you shelling out when one of the best fights might require him to go somewhere else? Either you match the goddamn money that's on the table or let him go. That'll help the sport. If you don't have, for example, let's say Jamal Charlo was like, man, give me that $7 million. I'd knock Demetrius Andre the hell out, right? Fox ain't going to get in the way, right? Al Heyman ain't going to get in the way because Fox ain't going to get in the way. All right, Jamal, go ahead. Go get him. We get that fight. But because the networks are like, nah, man, we don't want you going over there. That's why I like Eddie Hernan. That's why I don't understand how UK boxing fans don't like this dude. He's basically saying, if you can match what I'm paying my fighter and what I'm paying your fighter, then I'll send my guy to you. But he pays his guys well enough that they can't match him. So what do they end up doing? They end up not crossing the street because their handlers won't let them. That's why Javante didn't take the Tevin Farmer money. That's why Jamal ain't take the Andre money. That's why Adam Kovnowski ain't take the AJ money. Because we pay our guys so good. All right, I'll tell you what. You want my guy AJ to come to you. Here's what you got to do. You got to match what he's making with us. Because I'm not going to send him over there to make less money with you. If you're not going to match it, then I'm not sending him. That's good for the sport. because money keeps flowing into the sport, opportunities are created for the fighter, and the sport grows. The sport grew in the United Kingdom. It's never been as big as it is now than it is in the UK right now. It was never that big. Now it's huge. Why? Because of guys like Eddie Hearn. Like, all right, bro. If you want my guy to come to you, then you gotta pay him how I'm paying him. But if you're not gonna pay him like that, then no, I'm not gonna send my guy to you to make peanuts. Why would I do that?
And then you got the Zone giving us all these fights for $20 a month.
Yeah, that's Eddie Hearn.
I hate the guy.
He's a genius. The guy obviously knows what to do. It's just for some hardcore fans, they're obviously not a fan because it's a long story. But if you've been a subscriber or just following British boxing for a long time, boxing was different. But like I said, the guy, he's good at his job. I think for American fans, he's obviously good because what he's doing with the Zone, like he's obviously doing a good job. The fights. The fighters he's put on whatever the Zone from Showtime now, you don't have to pay that much money.
Look, let me give you an example. I know y'all not as big on women's boxing as I am. That's fine, but here's an example. Amanda Serrano was making 4-figure paydays. We talking about a couple $1,000s per boxing match. This woman stood no chance of ever seeing a 6-figure payday, right? Until Eddie Hearn rolled around. Literally, until he rolled around. There was no chance of a 5 or 6-figure payday for Amanda Serrano until he stepped into it. And that's women's boxing he did that for. Katie Taylor about to make a mill off this Pursuit fight. That's what she about to make. That's what he did for the sport of women's boxing. All right?
Katie Taylor, a women's boxer, is about to make twice the amount of John Jones's biggest purse.
Eddie motherfucking Hearn, bro. Eddie motherfucking Hearn. Eddie motherfucking Hearn. But they want to hate on this man. And I like what he's doing because it's not just good for the sport, it's good for the fighters. They're like, yo, dog, either you gonna pay my guy like I'm paying my guy, or you don't get my guy. Al Heyman do the opposite. You ain't even paying your guy like that, but you still won't let him cross the street. Adam Kovnowski was gonna make $7 million fighting what PBC fighter, bro? Luis Ortiz, Frankie Sanchez.
When Al Heyman made that deal with ITV, I thought Heyman might have done something good for once in his life, but then that deal ran out. I thought that was a good thing if he kept his word to it or whatever. I don't know what happened with that, but they had a deal apparently with ITV and PBC. All the PBC fights were going to be shown in the UK, but then it got to about June or July or something like that, and that deal where it fell off, and then I don't know what happened. That was really weird. I thought, a good idea.
Look. People want to lie about what Gervonta Davis is making a fight. I'm going to ballpark it, right? I think that Gervonta Davis as a fighter is making a little more, just a little, not a lot, because the money has to come from somewhere. I think he's making a little more, and I think the same is true of every PBC fighter. They're making slightly more than what's being reported, right? The difference is the financial incentive that they're getting is to not go other places. So you're literally paying fighters in order to maintain a commitment to Fox or Showtime. You're literally paying fighters a couple $100,000 at a time to not fight. To not fight. You understand me? To not have fights. How is that good for the sport? You'll tell a guy, you know what? Don't fight, Andre. Here's $200,000. Go buy yourself some new tires for the roads or whatever. Here, go get yourself a wardrobe. Here's a couple $100,000. Adam Kovnowski, who I just did a video about, when he turned down the AJ fight, what did Keith Connolly say? Oh, well, he's already supposed to fight somebody on FS1, so he can't take the AJ fight. What does Adam Kovnowski come out saying a couple of months later? Oh, I was out of shape. I couldn't take the fight. I wasn't in condition. Which one is it, bro? Why didn't Luis Ortiz take the money that they offered him to fight? And you think they paid that guy $7 million? No, the money got to come from somewhere. And they not putting up $7 million for no Luis Ortiz, bro. You fought
Al Heyman wants to do
$500,000.
Who do you think should have taken the fight? I was arguing that Luis Ortiz should have taken.
Yeah, the fight. Al Heyman wants to have such an individualistic type of a company, but he doesn't want to have his own. But he hasn't enforced his own belts or ranking systems, which is probably, in my opinion, the issue. If they were to actually stay dedicated to an actual UFC type of brand, then fine. At least you're accomplishing your mission, but what really are you doing?
You know what it is? Al Heyman probably thought because that idea has been floated several times throughout the years that they're going to come out with a PBC belt. And Al Heyman knows if you do that and you separate yourself from the world of boxing, your company will implode because people aren't going to qualify a PBC belt. Boxing fans, if nothing else, try to be historians, even the ones that are blithering idiots. They still try to be historians. Every one of us wants to be Bert Sugar. We all want to know it all. And the lineage of boxing is so important to the boxing fan, even the ones that don't know nothing about this sport. The history of it is still important enough that if you came out with a diamond-studded rhinestone PBC belt, yo, that's what the hell is that? What?
Yo,
What?
can I ask everyone a question? I just want to know this. Do you think, American fans, was it good what Al Heyman was doing back in 2015, 16, 17, whatever? I thought he was putting a lot of good fights on. It was only for a while, but they were on free TV. And you had good fights. Like
I'll say this.
Well, in this
Porter, I don't know, what was it, Spence Garcia, like fights like that, now which will be pay-per-view. Like,
Yeah,
I can't imagine someone like Eddie Hearn putting fights, or anyone else, or Frank Warren in the UK putting fights on BBC, like that type of quality.
I'll say this. When he first started with this free TV model, I was pretty excited.
Me too.
But now I'm seeing him. He's managing his fighters like he's not confident in them. You know, he's just he wants to keep everything in house, and it limits their earning potential too. You say that he might be giving them cash incentives not to cross the street. Yeah, probably. Actually, definitely.
Definitely.
And I think that in the long term, that limits their earning potential. Because yeah, you're getting this couple $100,000 now, but you could be making a lot more if you would fight X guy and fucking, I don't know.
They
Matchroom or
operate like crackheads. They want that instant fix, that instant money, not understanding that this is hurting you in more ways than you realize. It's not just your bank we talking about. Boxing is a sport where you have to want to do it. Well, really any sport, you have to want to do it. But the reason is I say this for boxing is because you can die. You know, you can die. In boxing, you can literally die. You go in, you have a boxing match, and you don't come out. You die. You go to the hospital, you're dead when you get there. That's boxing, bro, right? You have to want to do that, all right, with your heart and your spirit and all of that. You got to want to do it. And what this guy's creating is an environment where boxers don't want to box. They want to be stars. They want to take a shortcut. Let me fight Leo Santa Cruz.
to a certain degree, he has laid the groundwork for it. He's getting paid by massive companies like Fox. He's receiving a pretty large budget, so he does have the room to pay them quite a bit. So it's a fighter-friendly promotional company, but it's not a boxing-friendly promotional company.
I'd say it's fighter-friendly if you look at it on the surface. But like I said, if you're giving these guys these little cash incentives not to take certain fights, it limits their potential in the long term.
Look, if I tell you, let me break it down. If I tell you that Ahmed is the most dangerous, what's your weight class, Ahmed?
I don't know, man. Last time was probably I did a super middle light heavy.
Right. We got the most ferocious super middleweight that's ever been seen on the shores of any country that is a country. We got motherfucking Ahmed, right? Now Andy and Intangible are PBC fighters, and I tell him, no, don't worry about Ahmed. He's a top ranked guy. You ain't got to deal with that guy. Suddenly, you guys ain't training like you should. I don't got to worry about Ahmed. I know he nice, but I ain't going to fight him. I don't got to worry about him. You get lax in your training. You get lax in your lifestyle. You're not worried about Ahmed, even though you need to be. And before you know it, it's going to be somebody in front of you. They not as good as Ahmed, but they hungry like him. And they're going to take you out. They're going to take you out.
I believe the PBC has a $120 or $130 million budget, yearly budget, that they're paid by Fox. So they can afford to give a guy like a Charlo $500K or $750K.
So someone was saying, I can't remember, that boxers are overpaid. Would you say boxers are overpaid or UFCs are underpaid?
No, I don't think they're overpaid. I don't think they're overpaid. I think that I think that in boxing, right, overpayment depends on what's the compromise to the promoter versus what the fighter stands to earn, because it's all relative and there is inflation. There's a lot of ways you got to look at it. But ultimately, if you know that the fighter brings in X, then it needs to be at X because that's what he brings in. Now, if you're paying him more than X, it is coming at a cost. It's coming at a cost to your company. It may even be coming at a cost to the sport. Because why are you frittering this money away on this guy so that he could turn around one day and tell you, well, I don't want to fight nobody. I don't want to fight that guy because you've been paying me X to fight these guys. Look at Leo Santa Cruz. Leo Santa Cruz is one of the only guys at 126 that was getting like damn near $1 million. Well, no wonder you don't want to fight nobody. You paying him buku dollars to fight Miguel Flores. Guys that. Like, man.
What about a guy like Golovkin? Do you think DAZN overpaid him because without the guarantee of the Canelo fight? Steve Rolls.
It's not that. Let's put it this way, right? The right way to put it is: did they get their investment out of Golovkin? No, they did not. Wow.
No.
The reason you signed him was because of that Canelo fight. But what you didn't understand was that fight is not a guarantee. What if Canelo don't feel like having that fight? You got to get the guarantee on both sides that if I get Golovkin over here, Canelo will fight him. When you got him over there, Canelo was like, bro, what I'm going to fight him again for? That's literally what happened. When y'all signed him, Canelo looked at him like, yo, why? He don't even have a belt. What I'm going to fight him for?
That was a bad business move on my situation. That was a bad business move. They needed to time in on that one completely. But I digress. I've got to go back to something that you said earlier on.
And that's the thing, right?
You know how you mentioned about how you see with PBC keeping itself in a
Bro, I can't really hear you.
Sorry,
you cut it off, man. Your connection is bad.
Is that any better? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, speak to it. Yeah.
Oh God Almighty! Yeah, right. You know how PBC's. We all can agree that PBC's stable of fighters is quite short right now, and the truth is they're not getting that. They're not getting any new blood coming into it. So that's the reason why they're keeping everything in house. They've got no option because, to be honest, they've got some fighters, but they're running on fumes. That's in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Because of what I can see with what they're having to do, how the Karen,
you going in and out, bro.
Hello?
Yeah, you going in and out, bro.
Give me a minute. I'll take control of this.
All right, just hit me in the chat and let me know when you get back on, okay?
Oh yeah.
But he's not wrong.
You break it up.
The PBC stable,
what
right?
did he say?
He was basically saying that the PBC's stable is not as big as people think it is. That a lot of fighters in the stable, they're running on fumes and they don't actually have the bodies to spare, which I've been saying for a long time. They're like, yo, dog, they don't got a lot of fighters. I don't know why people act like they got all these fighters. Top Rank stable is huge. Matchroom stable is huge. I don't know that PBC stable is huge because they acting stingy with their fighters. Like, bro, why you so nervous about sending a fighter somewhere to make some cash? If you believe in them, right? It's multi-millions on the table. Why you don't let them make that money?
I agree with you.
What does PBC really have at this point?
The PBC pretty much has like a conservative. But I don't really know. I don't know what their sense of direction is, because if they have such a individualistic sort of mentality, then why aren't they just creating their own belts or in their own ranking systems? I don't understand. Then why haven't they just pushed for it already?
I think that it's because Al Heyman probably meant to do that upon the PBC's inception and then quickly realized that boxing is such a lineage-driven sport that it's never going to fly. If you make a belt, people are going to get pissed. Look at what happened with the franchise belt with the WBC. And that's an organization that's been around for a long time, right? Decades, right? At least decades. I think they came out in the 1960s. They've been around long enough, but when they came out with that French fry belt, people got pissed off. So what you think going to happen when a promotional outfit try to make their own, like this PBC belt? Bro, this is not a boxing belt. You might as well have them out here fighting for an H&M belt.
Yeah, it could have something to do with the fact that Al Heyman is not originally a boxing guy.
He's not.
Yeah, he was working mostly with musicians dating back to the late 70s. I will say he is a financial genius. he gets his guys paid, he gets his guys secured. But as far as
Good
boxing,
for fighters, yeah.
as far as controlling a stable that can benefit the sport, it's not all that great. And if you're a prospect, don't expect to get a lot of notoriety with the PBC.
You're
But
not.
It's a bad business
outside the welterweight division, I don't know. I don't think their stable is that
Because-
really all that people making out.
Because the PBC always controls their fighters like they're already A-side dudes. They fight infrequently most of the time, and they pay them more than they should be paid. And they don't grow the way Bob Arum did with Teofimo Lopez. You're never going to see that with the PBC. You're never going to see them take incremental steps up, and you're never going to see them at the top of cards. And
That's
you know,
because Bob, see, this is the thing about Bob, right? And you got to understand, and I'm not trying to make him seem like a good guy to you. It's just that, look, when you got a dog, right, and you fight dogs, right, like you have dogs that fight, you got to keep that dog hungry and vicious. You're not going to keep him hungry and vicious, giving him financial incentives to not fight people. If you want dog to be the best fightingest ass dog that he could be, you got to keep him hungry. You got to keep him vicious. Bob does that with his fighters. Like, yo, who I got to fight to get that money, B? Who I got to fight to get that money? I got to fight Loma. I fight Loma. I ain't scared of him. I'm so hungry, I'll beat the brakes off him. That's what Bob got going on. What Al Heyman got going on is, I'm a star. I said, I'm a star. Bro, what? Where are you a star, bro?
And ultimately, it's gonna backfire. I mean, look at Adam Kanaki. He could have made $7 million against AJ, and instead he loses to Robert Helenius.
I
Look
like
at Jamal Charlo.
they've pretty much
Antonir loses to Matt Korobov, and then he's now turning down career, life-changing money.
Well, they're pretty much setting back the parameters of what a star actually is. You know, getting a million views on free-to-air television is pretty much already you being considered a star. Tank Davis is doing however much he's doing.
Is Tank Davis a star though in his hometown? Though they were saying he sold out to something. Is he a star?
In Maryland, look. In Maryland, he rocked, right? But here's what I'm trying to help you understand. Do you think Terrence Crawford is a star?
Yeah, in what's the only in?
Do you think he's
in his
He's
hometown?
not. He's not a star.
Nah.
All right. Let me ask him, because Ahmed love to be a contrarian. That's why I don't even like asking.
I said in his hometown.
I wasn't asking you that.
Yeah.
He's a star in the
I
making. He's a
understood
star
what
in the
you
making.
said.
He's building himself up.
All right, let me. I'm gonna ask Andy. Let me ask Andy. Andy, is Terrence Crawford a star in America?
No.
All right,
No.
is he a star in Nebraska?
Nope.
Yeah.
Well,
Actually, he is.
Yeah,
he is. He has a street name.
yeah, I forgot where he's from.
I'm actually from Northern Virginia. Don't nobody know who the fuck Tank Davis is?
That's look, well, bro. That's what I'm trying to say. To like, just because you sell tickets in your hometown, that don't mean you a star. A star mean that it don't matter where you go, they know who you are, bro. If you drop Javante Davis in certain parts of Harlem, they ain't gonna know who that. Like, who is this? He looked like that girl. What's her name? What's the name of that girl rapper, man? I forgot her goddamn.
Young M.A.
You look like Young M.A. Is that her cousin? Let me get an autograph. You Young M.A.
So basically, he could do what he wants in whatever Baltimore, but that don't mean much in the grand scheme because
Look, he got a couple. This is what I'm gonna say, right? Do you know who Jenna Marbles is?
no.
All right, now what if I told you Jenna Marbles has millions of YouTube subscribers?
All right, yeah, I get what you're trying to say.
You see what I mean? That you got people that know who you are, and you have like something going on, but you not where Oscar was, and that's this is my point. That when Oscar De La Hoya was popping, for example, bro, that cat could have went anywhere. They knew who he was. He's like the Julio Iglesias of boxing. That everybody knew him. That's not happening with Javante.
Yeah, I'm
What
saying
about
don't
the
let
Santa
Leonard
Cruz
Ellerby
fight?
fool you.
No, I was just trying to see. Some people are saying like he's a mega star in his hometown. I was just trying to find out how big of a so-called star. I haven't seen his last couple of
He's
fights.
not, bro. I'm here in the States, bro. I ain't far away. The dude is not a star. I could knock on my neighbor's door's house right now. Yo, you know who Javante Davis is, bro? No, who that?
Obviously.
And he's not going to be a
Santa
star
Cruz
fighting those
fight.
kind of opponents.
You've got to take that into
What about the
consideration.
Santa Cruz
He's not.
fight? Does that happen in the?
Fucking
Do you think that's better on the West Coast, or do you reckon they're gonna put that in?
They're gonna put that. Look, the plant. I'm gonna give you an insight, right? when it was about Mahrez, right? Remember when they was trying to get Mahrez to fight him before the eye shit happened? Remember that? The fight was gonna be on the West Coast. The fight was gonna be on. It wasn't gonna be on the. It wasn't gonna be at the Barclays, and it wasn't gonna be in Baltimore. It was gonna be on the West Coast. So you tell me if Davis the star, why Mahrez ain't coming to him?
Yeah, I was
You
trying
need
to figure out
Mahrez
what they're
fans
trying
to
to
buy
do.
the tickets.
And then they're over here talking about putting Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz on pay-per-view, and I'm like, who the fuck's gonna buy that shit?
That
I'm not
fight is
buying
going to
that
do
shit.
probably under 150,000 buys. It will do absolutely horribly.
I won't
I
go
don't
that
think
far.
it
No,
cracks
you know what?
100.
I'm not gonna underestimate the Mexican boxing fans. You know why? Look at Chavez versus Jacobs. They sold that shit out. The Chavez fans, they sold that shit out.
Bro,
Yeah,
but
but
look,
I don't know. Chavez
Leo
is
doesn't have the Chavez
bigger
name.
draw,
Though.
I think.
That's true. That is true.
And
Battle
to be
was
honest,
good, man.
with that fight, the only way that fight could be compelling to me is if Tank Davis is just
Hey,
like,
Ring got Q. My
straight to the
sound
bone.
messed up. I'm gonna jump back in.
That
Okay,
that fight might actually be compelling if it's at 130 because he'll be so fucking drained. I mean, that dude will look like a damn skeleton in the ring.
That's what Leo look, bros. That's what Leo Santa Cruz is saying. He's saying 130 or no fight. That's what he's saying. He said that shit weeks ago, bro. 130 or no fight.
Makes sense. It's the only way it guarantees the win for him. So why should he bend to Deontay Wilder? Davis's wins on that and go for a high weight fight at 130 where he's got the advantage.
Exactly,
no sense
and I look. This is why I agree with it because okay, Tank, if you want to fight guys that just moved up to 130, why don't you take your ass down there to 130 then? Because you moved up to 135. I know you're not expecting Santa Cruz to go from 126 to 135. We done seen the daring to be great shtick.
And
I
you
don't want to see
motherfucking
no
missed
more
weight
of
at
it.
135 too.
Yeah.
That's another thing. He damn near blew that. He damn near blew that.
You know what? Tank Davis, I'm actually getting a real suspicion that he's probably just going to fight Russell at 140 next. I'm thinking that's probably what's going to happen.
He ain't even say 135. He said he gonna fight him at 140.
Seriously, that's what Russell is saying. Russell said he's willing to move up to 140 and do that shit.
Who y'all talking about? Who y'all talking about?
Davis, bro.
Gervonta Davis.
Gervonta Davis is gonna move up to 140 to fight Gary Russell.
That's what Gary Russell said. Gary Russell said he's willing to go up to 140.
Hold on, I've been
Dude,
waiting.
why
Hold
not
on,
just
wait, battle. I wanted to get your take on this. All right, look. Blair Cobbs, Henry Armstrong, who wins?
I don't know who Blair Cobbs is.
What?
I'm sorry. Who is he?
I'm just fucking with you, bro.
Oh, Blair Cobbs is basically a dude who fucking
He's diet Keith Thurman.
Yo, Blair Cobbs is basically a fucking dude.
Are you serious?
Blair Cobbs is basically who's like Ric Flair fan, and he comes in on these WWE ass ring entrances, and he's entertaining at least. I don't know.
Yo, battle.
You should have said Henry Armstrong versus Charlie Zelenoff. I would have picked Zelenoff any day.
Nah, look. Black Cobbs is the vegan option of Keith Thurman. He's Keith Thurman without the trans fats and the animal fats.
Is Keith Thurman without him playing golf?
Yeah, he don't play the flute. He play the violin. He don't play the flute.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't play the violin. He plays the didgeridoo. He plays the didgeridoo.
Kino Thurman.
But all I'm saying,
yeah, how do you guys?
And even with that, I just want to say this. Even with that, if the fight is at 130, you know I'm still not buying that fight. Yeah. I'm still not buying that fight. I'm not buying it.
What about a fight between Luke Campbell and Ryan Garcia? How do you guys see that?
That's a good fight.
I'll take that for $1, Alex. I'll take that for $1. That's a good ass.
Ring got Q, man. Go. Ring got Q, man. Gary Russell need help, man. Become his advisor. He needs some help, man.
His advisor, because I like Gary. He remind me of somebody I grew up with. I actually like Gary Russell.
Do you think Ryan Garcia got a better chance against Campbell than Linares? I think he got a better chance against Linares right now.
I think he has a better chance against Linares than because of the cuts. That's the shit. The cuts. He could get the fight chinny. Cuts.
Linares is chinny as well. He's been stopped about 4 or 5 times.
I also think in a fight between Campbell and Garcia, Campbell tends to get knocked down early in fights. he doesn't quite have the same concentration then as he does in the middle rounds when he starts to pick up the pace.
Yeah, but the cool shit. Look. Let me tell you something, fellas. You know why I like that fight? Because we don't know. This is not Vasyl Lomachenko, right? This ain't Vasyl Lomachenko. This is Ryan Garcia. The best name on your resume is Francisco Fonseca and Duno. Those are the best guys you fought. So,
are you talking about Davis?
No, I'm talking about Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell.
Oh,
And there was that dude he fought. I think a guy that Linares knocked out recently that gave Ryan Garcia hell.
Oh, Morales or something.
Yeah, I watched that Morales. Yeah, that fight between he and Ryan Garcia gashed really quickly. I think it was.
That's why it's a good fight. It's not like we just looking at Luke and saying, okay, well, Luke is this, Luke is that. It's also that Ryan is green, bro. This dude has not. You ain't even been there with a Mercito Hester yet. Like, you ain't even fought that kind of guy yet. So, yeah, it's a good fight because this dude could fight okay, but you green. So we really gonna find out some stuff about you now.
All right, Julius, let me ask you a question. Do you think this is different? Do you think this is different to when Teofimo Lopez fought? What's that?
Masayoshi Nakatani.
Yeah. Do you think it's a bit different to that, or do you think it's similar?
I think that this is better than that fight because what people not understanding is Masayoshi Nakatani, right? Good fighter that he was, and I do think he's a good fighter. He was not even battle tested the way that Luke has been battle tested. He lost to Ivan Mendy. He came back and got the win. Had a nice little fight with Luke with Jorge Linares and a nice little fight with Vasyl Lomachenko. That's a dude that knows how to dig deep. And what are you, Ryan? You're a prospect. You like, I don't even know if I could really look at you as a contender. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I meant more as if, like, the guys that Lopez fought, do you think they were better than the guys that Ryan Garcia's fought? Because he fought.
I think up until, look, all right, let's put it this way. I would take Masayoshi Nakatani over Fonseca. Can I say that? I would take that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I would take Richard Comey over anybody Ryan's fought so far.
No. Before the Comey fight, I was talking.
I would take Nakatani. I'd take Nakatani. Nobody Ryan really faced before. Nobody really Ryan's face is actually a real top contender. He's faced pretty much all fringe contenders and journeymen, even Fonseca to a degree.
And Fonseca was not a lightweight.
Was Tatley good?
He's a 130-pound fighter.
Lopez beat guys like Tatley and I can't remember. Oh, Mason.
And Luke Campbell honestly impressed me against Lomachenko. I think he's been getting better.
Oh, yeah. Campbell's gold medalist as well.
Yeah, I
agree. He stunned the guy.
What I'm saying is, right, if you look at what Luke is a southpaw, I like that. He's a statuesque southpaw. I like that too. He's a statuesque southpaw who can fight from the outside, but he also knows how to go to the body when he's coming inside. Dude could fight. Is he perfect? The dude, like the kid could fight. So when I think about that and I'm looking at Ryan like, yo, Ryan, and I don't got nothing against Ryan. I like that kid. But I'm saying you ain't proved nothing yet, bro. Like,
I think if they fight now in the UK, I think Campbell might knock him out or beats him on points.
Campbell really knows how the wet.
Campbell's got a bit of a dog in him as well.
He be eating that Campbell's chicken noodle soup.
I'd pick Campbell to win the fight because Ryan can't outbox him. He does not have the overall skills and dimensions that Campbell does. He's also not as short as a lot of Garcia's opponents, and Campbell is just very good at weathering the storm. And I haven't seen Garcia really finish a guy off with great technique. I don't know how good his finishing skills are.
I mean, to be fair, the way that he baited Fonseca, for what it's worth, right? For what it's worth, he baited Fonseca by getting in a high guard, let Fonseca throw that jab and try to bring over that right. And when he try to bring over that right, I'm gonna hit him with this left real quick because I'm fast enough to do it.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, when you have a guy hurt.
I remember that whole
wait, hold on. It's when you have a guy hurt and you got to find a way to finish them. Get the referee to step in. All right, maybe get some shots off before they're able to counter or shell up and hold. That's what I'm saying. And I don't think Campbell's just going to get knocked out with one punch from Garcia.
I agree with that. Campbell's
not if he eats a bowl of Campbell's chunky soup.
Battle don't like Luke Campbell. I don't know if Luke could fight, man. That's all I'm saying. Luke could fight. And
he was beating up on my boy Lomachenko.
Who wins? Luke Campbell or Henry Armstrong?
I go Campbell.
Yo, who's Blake Cobbs? The guy that Ryan Garcia knocked out.
Never heard of Black Cops?
The guy
Yo.
that Ryan Garcia knocked out.
Hey, Battle.
the...
Henry Armstrong or Luke Campbell? Who you got, bro?
Me. Is that to me?
That froze his brain, bro. His brain froze.
I can't hear Battle. Is Battle even speaking or is he?
Battle muted himself.
I'm here. It's just that I went out by accident.
All right, we need the answer to the question, man. Armstrong or Campbell?
Luke Campbell gets slaughtered in the first 2 seconds.
Oh, okay. So I see what you're doing.
Okay.
I'm telling the truth here. This is an unbiased prediction.
All I'm trying to say is that's a great fight. And I'll take Campbell versus Garcia any old day of the week over Davis versus Santa Cruz because I'm tired of that gimmick
So
shit.
what about Campbell versus Haney?
I wanted that
That's
before
a
it
good
even
fight.
became hold on, wait. I wanted that, and if you check the videos I posted, that's what I wanted before Garcia got the fight. I'm like, yo, I want to see Devin Haney versus Luke Campbell. That's a good ass fight.
So, yo, what happened? Linares fights Fortuna. The winner of which fight fights Haney? I'm confused because it's like 3 or
Look,
4 different.
both of them have this. The stupid thing, right? And this is the WBC fault. The winner of Javier Fortuna versus Jorge Linares is the Diamond champion. The Diamond belt could be used to order a fight, but at the same time, Ryan Garcia and Luke Campbell is for the interim, which also can be used to order the fight. I want Devin to fight all of them. Because
Like a
I
fucking
want
tournament or something?
Devin. I want Devin to get the winner of Campbell versus Garcia, and I want him to get the winner of Fortuna versus Linares. Because I think Devin has a good chance of beating all their ass.
Well,
I just want him to get a face.
besides the WBC's own discretion, the interim title tends to hold higher status than the gold belt. I think it is. So I mean, I think that they'll probably be the first fight ordered, Garcia versus Campbell, and also. If Garcia were to win, that would be much more lucrative than Linares or Fortuna versus Haney. So
Yeah.
I think that's
Who's more green?
Yeah.
Who's more green? Devin Haney or Ryan Garcia? I know
Ryan.
Devin Haney got a.
Ryan.
I don't know.
Devin,
if
actually,
anyone
in my
Haney is-
opinion.
Ryan.
Yeah, I'm not sure Devin has fought anyone as well.
You
like.
gonna see Ahmed. You gonna stop talking shit.
No, I'm talking about the guys. If
No,
fought.
you gonna stop talking. No.
I think Devin Haney might be the best. I think Devin Haney might be the best out the bunch, but the guys he's fought so far, I'm not sure. Is there
You can't
anyone
tell
on
that
there?
man. No, Ryan Garcia is. Not Ryan Garcia. Luke Campbell's going to get stopped in the first shoot as soon as the bell ring, man. That's going to be the fastest knockout in
Yo, all
history.
right, let me address this
You
comment.
really are hopeful.
Oh,
I'm not
wait. Let me address this comment. Now, you heard me run down both the Ivan Mendy fights, right? And you heard me run down the Linares fight. And the last fight that I mentioned was the Lomachenko fight. But you the only one talking about, because he went 12 with Loma. I just said, yo, he lost.
That's
to
a
Mendy.
troll.
That's a
He's a
troll,
troll.
right?
Troll, yeah. I wouldn't even pay attention.
Let me block this idiot, because I don't got time for it. I don't have time for it. Right?
Anyway,
Archer Monster not a bad dude. You know,
I don't know. The Avi profile looks like a troll. I don't even know.
bro. He's
Anyway.
not a troll, bro. He's all right.
You block boxing monster.
I'll block Monster and Boxster because he talked.
Well, he was trolling.
Is that how it is?
All right. Now back to Devin Haney and how he's more experienced than Vasil. I mean, shit, I'm high. Ryan.
What about Teofimo and Campbell? Do you think Teofimo Lopez would
Bro,
be favored?
Teofimo Lopez will hurt these guys, man. That kid is ready to. Yo, look. I'm telling you. Listen to me,
And he
Ahmed.
can still make weight.
Listen to me, Ahmed. Top-ranked fighters, right, are dangerous because Bob keeps them hungry. Look at what he did to Vosdick. Look at what Vosdick went over there and did to Adonis, man. Look at what he did.
So you picking Teofimo over Loma?
If
Then,
it's in, look,
You
if
know,
it was next-
Vosdick retired, didn't he?
Yeah, I know. Hold up. If this battle messing my brain up, man. If Teofimo Lopez versus Ryan or Devin was next, if that was next, I go
slaughter.
Teofimo because
So
y'all
I think
chill.
Teofimo Campbell.
This kid went in there with Richard Cole motherfucking May and stopped his ass in the first, because that's how bad he want to knock Loma's block off. That's where he at with it. That's
How do
psychological.
you see that fight? How do you see that fight?
He put a
I already
statement in that
talked
fight.
about
That was
fight.
a statement of intent. That was a
I
statement of
can't.
intent.
On the video or on the live? I haven't heard you.
I talked about that fight in the video. It's up right now, Ahmed. I want you to watch it so that you could get me the views and the AdSense cash. So watch that video, Ahmed. Watch it twice. Watch it twice. And
I was thinking,
Teofimo Lopez knocks Garcia's head off.
Bro, Teofimo.
Oh, that sounds like a bet.
Nah, he didn't say that. Why you Battle's trying to start something here,
I'm messing
man?
around. I'm messing around.
I just said if it was next, because what Top Rank, think about it. Teofimo has 15 goddamn fights. That's what he got. But in 15 fights, he got himself prepared for Lomachenko noodles. That's what he's ready to go. In 15 fights. Listen to me, man. In 4 years, you couldn't get Gervonta Davis to pee in the direction of Loma's house. He won't face that.
Irrelevant. He's irrelevant, man. I don't know if he's worth it. I was going to say this though: if Lopez gets completely beaten badly by Lomachenko, then I think maybe some people are being way too harsh on Luke Campbell. I know he lost to both Linares and Lomachenko, but I thought he gave them both good fights.
And the thing about it is, when Campbell fought Linares and Lomachenko, they were rated number 1 in the division.
Yeah, that's the. Can I say this? Jorge Linares, I'm not trying to tell you this and that, audience. Not y'all, because y'all know better. Y'all boxing fans, so I don't got to tell y'all. This ain't for y'all. This for the comments. Linares was number 1 when Campbell fought him. He wasn't fighting Joe Tomato Can or Patty Potato Salad. He was fighting the number 1 guy at the weight. That's and y'all knocking him for losing to the number 1 guy at the weight.
When did they fight?
2017. That was a split decision. I thought Linares won about 8 or 7 rounds to 5, something like that. But that was a close fight. A lot of people thought it was close.
I'm gonna use my psychic powers. I'm gonna ask a question. Battle, you been drinking?
No, I haven't been drinking.
You been smoking? You smoke, right?
No.
I'm not judging you, bro. I just want to know. Did you smoke?
No.
Cool. Stop it, bro.
I'm high as hell.
Battle don't something different about Battle. So either he high, he drunk, or he just got mad.
See, I'm yelling because for some reason all of the sound is not to the bottom of my phone.
I think he's chewing. He's chewing
the top part of my phone.
Bro, I know what it is. Battle.
It sounds like it's pretty far away.
Battle was buried in some pussy right now. That's what it was. He just got out of there.
Nah, bro. Nah.
He just got out of there. And he loosed the goose right now.
One quick question: is what Spot and Icon said in the comment true as well about Campbell's dad?
Yeah. So what fight we talk about? Teofimo. What Fortuna and Linares? That's not a bad fight, I think.
And also that fight was a split decision.
Oh yeah, the Campbell,
it was a competitive fight.
It was a good fight. I'm tired of people talking about look. If we supposed to qualify Errol Spence beating the husk of Lamont Peterson, don't try to tell me that Linares was a bad fighter. He was a 3-division champion, number 1 at 135. Ring Magazine, WBA, WBC Diamond, holding it down. Don't try to tell me that beating Lamont's supposed to get me high, but having a good fight with Jorge, I'm supposed to sneeze at that. I ain't no casual, bro.
Yeah, same as Campbell as well. Like, I know Campbell hasn't beaten anyone, but like at the time when both those guys beat him, he wasn't a bad fight. Like I don't see anything that guys like Devin Haney or Ryan Garcia have done. Like so, Spence 24 Peterson. Peterson was virtually washed up.
Everybody knew that Peterson was over the hill when they fought. Everybody knew that. And everybody know that Felix Diaz, anybody that saw the Felix Diaz fight knows who really won that goddamn fight.
He beat Danny Garcia. Everybody knows that.
He didn't beat him, man.
Who? What?
He said he beat Danny
I
Garcia.
forgot
I
I'm
thought
a
he did.
Danny Garcia fan. I'll be forgetting that.
Nah, I'm just
No,
joking. Nah,
I
the only
It ain't
fights I
even
think
that.
he
It
won.
ain't even you, Battle. It's because he always do this when it come to Danny. Like, he always got to stop. Like, nah, you're not going to talk about Danny like that.
who's
Danny
that?
gonna
What's the
beat.
name?
I thought
I
he
think
beat him, but
any
he
fight I had him
argues a
losing
draw.
was the Herrera fight. But
Yeah, the Herrera
I
fight was
did.
a robbery.
Go ahead.
I thought Peterson won, but like Peterson gave up about 6 or 7 of the first rounds. I can't like when I rewatched it, I wouldn't say it was a robbery. Although I thought you could say Peterson deserved at least a draw. The Herrera fight, Danny lost that clearly. And the Thurman fight, I don't even think Danny won more than 2 or 3 rounds, if I'm being honest.
You don't think he won 3 rounds in the Thurman fight?
Yeah, I thought I rewatched the
Honestly,
Thurman fight.
I had Thurman winning like 8-4 or 7-5. Honestly,
I think it's more 8 or 9-3. Danny was doing nothing in that fight until Thurman started running towards the end of the fight. And he won, I think, one early
remember
round.
when people were saying that Danny Garcia got robbed? I was like, you do not need to watch
It wasn't
boxing
people
another day
saying
in
that.
your
It was
life.
that dude from Philly. It was that dude from Philly that sound like Raekwon. He the only one that said that. Gang Garcia undefeated. Gang Garcia
Nah,
is pound for
because
pound. Gang
remember after the fight, what happened was I heard like a good bit of people saying Keith Thurman was running, Danny Garcia was beating him
Well, they're
up.
booing the decision in Barclays. That's what I remember. And that, I
Because
don't know if
Danny
it's
was, you know
pro
what the
Danny
thing
house.
was too? This the thing though. In that time, right? Around that time, Danny did good at the Barclays. Like he did all right. Like ticket sales. Like he was not superstar stuff, but a lot of people that was in there, they was in there for Danny. A good amount of them, not
Yeah.
all of them, because Keith does good numbers too, or
the
he
Puerto
used to
Ricans in
do
it.
good numbers.
Yeah, the Puerto Rican, because he fought Zabdi.
If I'm being honest, the person who looks the most impressive as far as money wise that I've seen out of the welterweights other than Errol Spence is Danny, because Danny has the mansion, doesn't he?
I didn't hear what he
Danny
said.
sells
Money.
coke. Wait, Ahmed. Danny sells coke, bro. If you haven't figured that out yet, you ain't from these streets.
So Angel Garcia is basically like
It's got to be with that turtleneck.
a Hispanic Heisenberg. Yes.
All I'm saying is, what you think they spending? Adrian Granados money? You think they spending Brandon Rios money?
Bro, like compared to Sean Porter, Andre Berto, and I think Andre Berto, I think he got paid like $4 million for Mayweather. Danny Garcia looks like he's making the most money.
Bro, if you haven't figured out that Danny's in these streets, that he's out here with us, you don't. Then I don't know what to tell. Cause he out here with us. That's where he at. He's out
He
here.
lives in a better
Definitely
house
something.
than the Charlo brothers, bro. Have you noticed that?
The Charlo brothers is renting that mansion. Y'all don't believe they own that, do you?
Well, I don't think it's a mansion. You remember you know how Jamel has the YouTube channel, and
Yeah.
it's a house in the suburb. It's like a 2-story.
I mean, look, man. All I know is I know what I'm looking at, right? And I know what Danny doing. I'm proud of him too, by the way. Just cause he took the bread and turned it into more bread. And I'm always gonna respect that.
Who's he fighting next? Is it Spence, isn't it? All right.
I mean, he's supposed to be fighting Spence, and the only intrigue of that fight is if Spence is so banged up that he can't wash Danny. That's the only way that fight is like, all right, that's interesting. But I still don't think that's pay-per-view worthy. Because Danny, and I said it before, I'm going to say it again, he's a tune-up.
I think it'll be competitive. The bad thing is, I don't think Spence will stop him now. It's unlikely. I think if Spence was 100% whatever, and it wasn't coming off that car crash, I think Spence would probably bust him up. I think Danny gets hit way too much. I think Crawford or Spence would have a chance of stopping him. But right now,
Even then, it's unlikely for Danny Garcia to get stopped because he hasn't really been stopped before. He hasn't. I don't think he's been knocked down either. I think he's been probably pushed. But
I'm not talking about knockdown, but if you fight someone like Pacquiao, Spence, or
Crawford stops Danny.
I could
I
see
wouldn't
that.
say that. Danny,
I would.
he has
I
a chin.
would.
Well, funny enough, like we like to sometimes like
but that's a problem though.
look
You got
at the
background.
welterweights like they're scared, but we can say one thing: most of them got a good chance now. No,
Honestly,
I wouldn't
I
say
think
from
Crawford slaps the shit out of anybody in the welterweight division right now.
Crawford makes me proud to be from Nebraska, and that's saying a lot because I'm not from Nebraska.
That
boy has the right type of work.
Yeah, I think Danny's
No.
got a good chin, but he hasn't
No.
fought any of
You
those
think-
guys that well. Yeah, who has he beat?
Bro, Danny don't
But-
got
but,
no.
I think-
I'm going to stop. No, we're going to stop this, all right? Because I don't see Danny Garcia beat Negas Kavaliauskas. I don't see it, and I don't care if it's not crazy.
But I'm saying, like, is that a different question from him being stopped though? Because I don't think he gets stopped.
Depends.
I think he does, bro. Who has he been fighting at welterweight that he would get? Adrian Granados, Ivan Redkach, Samuel Vargas.
But wait. I'm not saying he would win. I'm just saying he wouldn't get stopped by those guys, even Crawford. In my opinion.
Do you remember when Herrera had him busted up all over the place? This is our 140. Bear in mind. Do you remember when guys like Judah cut him open? A welterweight outside Thurman, I don't believe he's fought a puncher. And Thurman lately has become a guy who's on his feet now.
Look,
So,
remember.
puncher,
I like that Ahmed brought that up because what we know about Sean is hard to keep on the outside, but when he gets to you, what does he do? He smothers his work. So you're not even getting all of the punches. Like as hard.
But if anything, the welterweight division is for a while that hasn't been a puncher's division. If anything, he said he's gonna. Well, not he. I heard there was a rumor that he might move into 154. So
that's push.
That's a different story.
He could have fought Pacquiao. He could have fought Crawford. Those guys are punchers. If he fights Spence, I think that'll depend.
But you know, everybody's been doubting Pacquiao's power for a while now.
Listen, man. Terrence Crawford stops Danny Garcia, and I ain't gonna argue about that shit.
I remember the WBO made Danny Garcia Terrence Crawford's mandatory. Danny Garcia was saying, "Oh, they're trying to make it look like I'm ducking him or something."
But you are ducking him though. You don't
free
want
title
him
shot.
You don't want them problems. You want to fight Ivan Redkach.
Remember, he was the mandatory after losing to Sean Porter.
That's crazy.
I think Jose Benavidez.
I'm never gonna get tired of saying this. Ivan Redkach got stopped by John Molina at 140.
I like that.
Stop. Wait. He got stopped by Dejan Zlatijanini at 135. But at 147, Danny can't stop this guy. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. Yeah, I think Jose Benavidez Jr., before that Crawford fight, would probably have beaten Danny. I don't see what Danny has done at welterweight. He's beaten Guerrero,
look at his welterweight resume. Paulie Malignaggi. Well, really, the Peterson fight counts because that was 141 and 142. That wasn't.
It was at 144.
Actually, all right. Yeah, actually, catchweight is welterweight.
It was a catchweight, and Danny caught that shit. He caught that shit. So you talking about a shaky looking Danny against Lamont. You didn't fight a puncher in Paulie because we all know Paulie can't punch. Samuel Vargas, who never did anything. Adrian Granados, who don't belong nowhere in the welterweight division. That dude normally campaigns 140, 135. Motherfucking Ivan Redkach, same shit, and you couldn't even stop him. That's ridiculous.
Guerrero got stopped by
Guerrero that looked like Doodoo. Remember where Guerrero was coming from. Guerrero was coming from looking like Doodoo with Aaron Martinez.
Yeah, he got knocked unconscious standing. That was bad.
He got knocked out by Figueroa as well. So, like, I don't know. I think Danny is very overrated, especially at welterweight. Junior welterweight, I think, was the
because when motherfuckers talk about Danny Garcia, they're gonna talk to you about two fights, bro. Lucas Matisse, and Amir Khan, and them fucking fights was like 5-6 years ago.
What about the Eric Morales
40 and fucking Victor Postal?
Oh my God, he beat an old ass Eric Morales. Let me call my grandma.
But it was funny how he knocked him out in the rematch.
That first fight was close though, man. That first fight, if it wasn't for the knockdown, I thought Morales could have got a draw, maybe even won that fight. That rematch, obviously, then he ended all dope. But that was Morales against 36, or he was way past it. I think his win over Judo was decent.
Khan and Matisse.
Those are good wins. Judo
knocked his mouth guard out.
But what did I? But Andy, what I just said. Whenever we talk about Danny, the first fucking two fights he beat Khan though.
Basically, that was like what? How many years ago was that?
Oh, 8 years ago. That was
8 years ago. Shit, bro.
God damn! I thought it was 5.
I feel old.
What happened?
He been riding that for 8 years, B.
Who y'all talking about?
We
Danny
talking about
Garcia.
no, we
Damn.
talking about Blair Cobbs.
What did he do?
Well, I want to see. Like, I wanted to get your opinion. Who you think wins, Blair Cobbs or Sugar Ray Leonard?
That name is familiar.
You go Cobbs, right, Battle?
Blair Cobbs.
Yeah.
No. I mean, what'd you say he was? Like, you explained it to me, but I forgot already.
Battle. I'm so angry. You treat this question like it's a real question. B. Like he really treated it like it's a real question. For fuck, man. Stop treating it like it's a real question, bro.
I think yeah. But you asked me about Henry Armstrong earlier. I was like, who the heck is that? I'm thinking he's like an all-time great or something. If you compare him to Henry Armstrong.
Gang Garcia is undefeated if he wouldn't have got robbed. Gang Garcia is undefeated if he wouldn't have got robbed. And Gang Garcia. What happened to that guy?
He got that Kingsman list. You remember that Samuel Jackson?
Yeah.
Him and El Jefe.
Undefeated.
What about Crawford? Is he gonna fight Brook then? Is that the fight to see?
Bro, I don't know. I gave up on welterweight. I don't even want to talk about welterweight no more. I gave up on welterweight. I literally
unbelievable.
What I'm thinking about right now, can I tell y'all what I'm thinking about right now? I'm thinking about Chocolatito versus Juan Francisco Estrada 2. I'm thinking about
that needs to happen.
Kosei Tanaka and Kazuto Ioka. That's what I'm thinking about.
Man, if he wins that fight, he automatically go in the top 2.
Yeah, who you talking about? Kosei, right?
No, Chocolatito.
You talking about Chocolatito?
Yeah. I agree. I got him. I got him at I think what is it 3? I think I got Chocolatito at 3. Like, bro, the resume.
Well, here's my
put him ahead
thing.
of Canelo. I don't know about that.
Here's my thing. I didn't give him the spot. I didn't give him the spot because I think it was Ring. Wait, not Ring. I think it was either Intangible or IBT that convinced me. Like,
I feel bad for Chocolatito.
It was either IBT or Intangible that convinced me. Like, yeah, he got the win against a champion, but that champion wasn't really all that. I mean,
that's not true. Khalid Yafai had several title defenses. He was undefeated.
I mean, so did.
You're not going to talk about Roman like that, all right?
But so did Linares. Didn't he have like a lot of title defense? Everybody was hyping that up.
Yeah, but he was actually this is what I'm talking about. You letting people convince you, right? That fighters that's good fighters is not good fighters when the resume is there. What you need is there. The title defenses is there. The number of divisions climbed. He's a 3-division champion. He was a 3-division champion because he lose to Loma. Oh, he's cockeyed. Bro, what kind of shit is that?
Yeah, Loma's top 3 pound for pound right now.
Okay, so what's the resume then? Who did he beat other than? I mean, who did he beat?
Look, man, he beat Luke Campbell.
Look, he was a unified champion. He's a unified champion.
Luke Campbell,
he's the number one guy. Lightweight. Mikey Garcia didn't want to fight him, so we gotta give it.
I'm talking about Cal.
Talking about what fights I'm waiting for. Can I go back to talking about that? All right.
Go ahead.
Like the Julio Martinez kid, they talking about putting him in there with Methalane or Delakian. That's the flyweight division, right? That's below the super flyweight division. Is the flyweight division. Julio Martinez is down there. He got the green belt. They talking about if he win this mandatory fight, they're gonna put him in there with the kid Methalone. Methuselah. They're gonna put him in there with Methuselah. If they don't put him in there with Methuselah, what?
Who's the mandatory he's fighting? He's fighting.
I forgot the guy's name, all right? I just know they talking about putting him in there with Methuselah in a unification fight. If it's not Methuselah, it's Delakian. So I'm with it. That's what I care about. I don't care about Keith Thurman. I don't care about Danny Garcia. I don't care about Errol Spence. I'm tired of y'all. Y'all let me down. I'm disappointed in all of y'all. I believed in y'all for a while. After 2017, I got sick of y'all. I'm done.
I was
Alexander Povetkin fight.
Look, I was been done with the welterweights, man. Because everybody loves talking about ideas of fights instead of the actual fights themselves. I was been done with welterweight, but
it was supposed to be a great division right now.
I hope
Pacquiao fights Crawford, man. That's the doesn't do anything.
If that could happen, I don't know.
Right now, with welterweight, right now, I'm waiting for the guys at 140 to move up, like Josh Taylor and all that.
Yeah.
If Pacquiao fights Crawford, I think that would be good.
No. Wait,
I agree on
140. Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez, phone booth fight, fantastic, sensational fight. On top of that, I know in my heart
Prograde.
they gonna give me that pro-grade Baron chick. I'm praying to the boxing guys for that. I want that. Give me that. I want that. I didn't get to see pro-grade hooker. Give me pro-grade Baron chick 2 fights from now. I want that. Give me that. All right.
Hooker
The
messed up.
welterweight division is a dud. It's a dud. It's a
140 is
fart.
the new welterweight.
It's a wet fart.
Yeah, well, I think actually Vigil Ortiz wants to fight Crawford. That's not a bad fight if they fight in a couple
Golden
of...
Boy is not gonna make that fight, so stop.
Yeah, no. But in a couple of years' time, I think that'd be a good fight. I don't know if Crawford
In a couple of years, Virgil Ortiz is gonna be at 154. In a couple
of years' time, Crawford's going to be out of his prime.
Yeah, that's the thing. He'll have to take it next year.
That's such a shame, dude. Man, fuck PBC.
Yo, I hate PBC, man. I hate Al Heyman, man. I hope he gets COVID.
I think if Pacquiao does fight Crawford, that would be the best thing for the division. But I don't think that's gonna happen. Man. That's the bad thing.
I want to see Gary Russell versus Teofimo Lopez. I don't care.
What the fuck?
I don't care.
Why would you want to see that? You're trying to get Gary hurt, man.
I want to see Gary Russell versus Senegal.
I mean, I was just playing. I just want to see Gary Russell shine, man.
No, this is what I want. I'm gonna tell y'all what I want. The first thing I want is for the WBA to tell Canelo, you got to vacate the WBA at middleweight so Murata could become the full champion. Then after that, what I want is Murata versus Derevyanchenko for the WBC if Derevyanchenko beats Charlo. If he beats Charlo.
Too many
I
ifs.
heard Canelo's fighting Derevyanchenko.
Yo, what Benavidez and Caleb Plant ain't fighting as well. That's the bad thing about. I heard if they fight, it's gonna be a pay-per-view.
That's an in-house fight, and they not
gonna be a pay-per-view.
What happened to Santa Cruz and Gary Russell? That's what's gonna happen. Is what happened to Charlo versus Herb. That's where that fight is gonna go.
Ring, I kid, you're not fooling anybody. You just like seeing Murata get beat up on.
I know, because it's like a bigger version. You seen when Yamanaka got beat by Neri?
No, I didn't see that one personally.
Well, all right,
the
now
Japanese are pissed off.
I'm gonna tell you, watch it. It don't take long. It's not a long. Watch both the beatings. That's how Murata be getting. That's how the Rob Brandt fight.
The Rob Brandt, that was hilarious. When I say, I think Low Place was here when that fight. Well, yeah, I think he was here.
So what happened to Low Place, man?
I have no idea. We haven't heard from this guy like almost 2 years.
I think he had some court case or something.
Did he move out of that house?
That was before that. He had a court case. The court case.
Oh, I thought you said COVID.
No, I think he got locked up for something.
That shit was funny, bro.
You know, for that
he was a house owner with that bum ass.
Being locked up.
I remember
he's definitely locked down.
When he was faced on
here's the weird thing though.
Stevenson t-shirts.
Here's the thing though. I'm not wishing anything bad upon you guys, but it's weird that if something would have happened, I wouldn't have no way of knowing what happened to you guys. So that's weird though, because
I mean, that's the thing though. Low Place just disappeared though. There was no. Like he didn't say something obviously was up with the guy. I heard
you know what? Y'all think y'all negative. Y'all thinking bad. I'm thinking he found a good woman with some good ass box, and that's what he doing. He just found other things.
No, he said out of his own mouth that he was facing 6 or 7 years for doing something, but we don't know what happened.
That's not good table talk.
Whoa, that's a bit.
Did he assault somebody over Adonis Stevenson?
That's what I heard. That he.
Listen, we can either confirm nor deny. What happened.
He said something about Adonis Stevenson, and he fucking lost it, bro. Have you heard him on live?
Somebody showing the highlights of this fucking fight with Rosdick.
That's what it was.
No. The first time I heard was the relay was the funniest one. I think he said is the Spence Crawford comparison that I think it's on Dan the Man's angle. Oh, that was hilarious. But those are like 2-3 hour debates. I remember there's one on Beats as well as well. But
look, it's not debate. It's not a debate when you're not using facts, bro. Low Place would not use facts. Like you had Jim and Yvonne Michelle and all these people saying, yo, the networks didn't want Alvarez. So I don't want to hear about how Stevenson this and that. Like, bruh, they was keeping Stevenson away from Alvarez. That's what it was. That would have been an in-house fight. For fuck's sake. Aleta Alvarez is still with Yvonne Michelle. All right? That was
You want to know something funny, Ring IQ? I was just flipping through EJ's I've heard no, not Hangouts. I think it was I can't remember who told me, but it was telling me how they had like a little confirmation or like a playlist of all his debate videos. And I'll never forget, you was debate with Ring IQ, and that junk was heated. Like, oh my god,
Who was debating with
man,
who?
it was Ring IQ and Low Place, and that junk
He
was
had
so
he
heat.
had one.
It was
He
one.
had one
It
on
was one
beats
below
as well.
place. He's awesome. I already addressed that, man. You're not even freaking looking at the fact. And Reese was like, I presented you with facts to begin with. Oh,
Yeah, what?
oh my gosh, it was super heated. I can't remember what y'all was arguing about, but man,
It was always over Adonis Stevenson.
I,
You
I,
can't-
I, I guess it was over Don Stevenson, but man, I had never seen Ring IQ like that mad. He was just like, dude, like this dude don't even freaking listen to what I'm saying. He's like, you gonna talk over me? You gonna keep talking over me?
I remember listening to that funny shit with that one LDBC guy that came on here.
Oh
Who's
yes.
that?
Oh yes.
Oh God, yeah,
John,
I remember
no.
that.
You talking about Raekwon Bell?
No, I'm talking
Oh
about
my God.
the other guy who made a video lying about you or some shit, and you confronted him. He was in his car.
Oh,
You talking about the guy who was with H Money? You talking about the guy who
the
was drunk?
Khalifa,
Like Khalif or something like that.
I think you're talking about the guy who's like 40 years old and he was drunk, and then he went on H Money's channel talking about some.
Khalif.
Man.
Is that his
It's
name?
Khalifa. It's Khalifa. He called him a pathological liar or something because I think he said something on Facebook. The
He
guy
was
you
saying
know about-
that the Ring IQ made like emotional picks in fights, some shit like that.
Yeah, I remember.
Dang,
I know who you're talking about.
It's like Khalif.
Khalifa.
What he look like? What he look like? If you know what he
You-
looked like.
He's black. He was in a car and he was off Facebook or something. Something happened on Facebook.
Balding.
Yeah,
Shitty
he was-
phone in his car, driving.
Drinking in his car.
He said, I think apparently you picked Spence to beat Brooke or some shit, and you said you didn't, and I think you pulled up the.
No,
you
no,
wouldn't
no.
admit.
Yeah. He said
You
said
know what
I
I'm talking
picked Brooke to beat Spence, and I was like, no, I didn't. I picked Spence to beat Brooke, and I got the video.
There's
Now
like
it's
3
starting
hours.
to come to me. It's starting to come to me.
You
He
know,
sat there for over an hour not answering shit.
nah, it's longer. It's like almost 2 hours.
That
I was
shit
in
was
work.
funny.
I remember the one with the guy in the car. What's his name? The guy who's.
That's the one. That's the guy. That's the guy.
Oh, that was hilarious.
That's the guy.
I can't remember what
I'm
was
still
that.
waiting for the rap song he was going to write about me.
H money. No money.
You remember your debate with DSG?
Yeah, I remember that.
That was the funniest. That was the funniest. Y'all was arguing for like 2 whole hours.
No, I wasn't. I was on there for a half hour because that wasn't even my channel. That was El Jefe channel when that was.
Are you sure it felt longer than that?
Nah, it was like a half hour because I was like, yo, this dude, it's like, yo, you high? Like, you sound like a brackhead. Like, what's rocking with you?
Bro, he was
BFTV,
like,
right?
he wouldn't even let you talk. He was like Danny Garcia all day. He was like, bro, what are you talking about?
You got clear all day.
I remember the guy fucking BFTB was on his fucking live talking shit, saying that he didn't show up in the fucking stream lives.
Bro, please, I got
Or on
timestamps.
StreamYard.
Listen, I got timestamps. When you supposed to be at this location, you was sitting in your house, bro. I got timestamps, bro.
Plugging his fucking Cash App.
Yeah, like,
Yo,
bro,
why was he asking you to go by the
no,
security?
This is what it was. I think I said he got like a Napoleon complex. Like, you talk like that because you mad little. That's why you be talking like that on the internet. He's like, I be little. I give you this location right now. I'm like, all right, back. Because he he don't live far from where.
You know who he reminded me of? You know.
Then for half an hour, he's on,
You know who he
on the
reminds me
stream,
of?
innit? That was crazy.
The dude was saying that he was trying to pull
If
up
I
on you
was
in a
me-
mall or some shit.
Yeah, and he was sitting in his house for like an hour and a half. Like, bro, you was supposed to be at the mall. Like, you supposed to be at the
Oh,
mall.
that was bad. Man.
Who does he remind you of?
pulled up the
He
does he remind you of?
reminds me of
Kevin Hart on
this
crack or
is
something.
really weird. Does anyone remember the Cleveland show? Rolo.
Oh my God! How dare you? This dude crazy, man.
I know it's wrong.
He's
You go. Just
But
little
yeah,
and
though.
very hour.
I wonder what they be up to, man. I don't know. I don't be checking no more. I'm like, I gotta stop talking to stupid people because that kills brain cells.
Who you talking about? I didn't I couldn't hear what you said.
BFTV, all them goofy
I hate
people.
you.
Then there was that time you were playing those videos from barbershop conversations, that cringeworthy bullshit.
Oh my
Me
god.
and BFTB be debating all the time. And I remember we had this really long argument about what pound for pound means. And I kept trying to tell him, like, it's going to be always be subjective. So there's no really right or wrong answer. People might say there's an answer for it, but people are not really bringing a real answer. They're just bringing their own bias into it.
Nah, I mean, pound for pound has a meaning. Whether this is the thing, and this is what I don't like about boxing or boxing fans. Pound for pound has a meaning. It actually has a meaning that you could go look up in an Urban Dictionary. It's a meaning. It means that two items that weigh the same are not of the same quality. That's outside of boxing. The way it applies to
But
boxing
is Urban Dictionary a good source for that though? I mean,
I'll give you another example. The term pound for pound predates boxing.
So basically, if all the guys with the same size or same whatever weight class, how would they fit? That's what it basically means, isn't it? Like,
What if, no, because before Urban Dictionary came out, there was pound for pound, right? Before that Urban Dictionary came out, there was pound for pound in boxing, and there was pound for pound in terminology. The terminology predates its usage in boxing because all a person meant by saying pound for pound is like a pound of gold is worth more than a pound of feathers or a pound of nose hair. That's what that means. The way it applies to boxing is okay, you can have a pound, you can have a 200-pound man in a heavyweight division, or you can have a 160-pound man in a middleweight division. But that middleweight is a higher quality fighter than that heavyweight, even though there's more of that heavyweight. That's
okay, well let me rephrase then. I'll say it like this. Well, go ahead.
Basically, look, Tyson Fury is 6'9". If him and I don't know who's a middleweight, if him and Canelo were to fight, obviously that's a mismatch. But if you were to rank them and rate them pound for pound, basically if they're around about the same weight class and how they compete and how they compare to each other, going by some of the attributes or whatever, the way Ring IQ Julius uses it is good because he uses some of those factors like how many weight classes or whatever. Although at the same time,
you're
you
not
can use
even.
your
That's
resume.
the thing. That's the thing.
Actually, but with heavyweight, you can't do that.
Let me explain this. Anybody ranking heavyweights, right? And I'm talking about Ring Magazine. I'm talking about ESPN. Them too. If you one of these people that want to rate a heavyweight on a pound for pound list, I'm dead ass going to think like, yo, are you slow? The list is not.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't. Yeah,
you're
that's
not. Why? Because let me explain it, Ahmed. We already know that in a real life setting, that heavyweight will beat these guys. That's why you rate in the smaller fighters against the heavyweight on another premise, because you already know the heavyweight would beat them in real life, like in real time. But that don't mean that heavyweight. That don't mean that heavyweight feints better or pivots better than a Vasyl Lomachenko, for example. That don't mean that. Just because you bigger and you win the fight on size, don't mean you won the fight on skill. You won it on size. That's how you won it.
And it's not really fair as well, because like you look at a guy like Tyson Fury, he's 19, almost 20 stones. He could have 2 or 3 stone on some of his opponents. Where a guy like Canelo, or I don't know, a guy like Crawford, they don't have that advantage and luxury of weight and size, and for the most part. Like a heavyweight can weigh basically anywhere above 15, was it 15 and something, 14
200 pounds.
Yeah, anywhere between 14 and 4 stones, 40 stones to 4 pounds. And
let me address King Meach because he's having an Errol Spence conversation, and I want to get in on that. He wasn't a 140-pound fighter. Hold on, he wasn't a 140-pound fighter. He was a 135-pound fighter. Why are you high on Errol beating up a lightweight? Why does that turn you on and make you impressed? Is that supposed to be impressive? Was you impressed when Canelo knocked out Amir Khan? Was you impressed when Gennady Golovkin knocked out Kell Brook?
Yeah, that's true.
Was
that's
that
double standards
to you? Was you impressed when Vasyl Lomachenko embarrassed Rigo and made him quit? If you wasn't impressed by none of that, Don't try to tell. Oh, he beat him easy. He supposed to beat him easy. He's a fucking welterweight who debuted as a junior middleweight.
They didn't even give that guy the fucking courtesy of a tune-up fight.
They
Mikey.
did. We went from 35 with Robert Easter to 47 with Errol Spence. Of course,
See,
he better beat him easy.
That's where you go back. Someone go back. That's where I don't understand the double standards.
Should have knocked him out.
That's what I said.
Spence goes
what
12
I
rounds.
said.
Spence goes 12 with Mikey. Canelo goes up and knocks Kovalev out. All right, fair enough. Kovalev has seen better days, but at the same time, Canelo still did something.
Bruh, you don't gotta split hairs over it. Here's what we know about Kovalev. He was a champion, correct? He was coming off a title defense where he knocked the guy out. He knocked out a big, strong, undefeated light heavyweight right before he fought Canelo. That's what we know. He was a champion, a defending champion, coming off a win.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That was a good win, and I've seen guys try to, and at the same time, they're trying to defend Spence. Like, it holds no logic. Like, to me, like that's why I can't see how you could have Spence.
No, god damn it, I gotta say it. There's nothing impressive about Errol Spence beating Mikey Garcia over 12 rounds. That's not impressive.
Prograde can beat Chisora. Don't argue with me. Don't argue with me.
Battle is high, man. He's high.
I'm
that guy to press
he
conference.
was drinking. I told y'all he was drinking when
I'm reading the super chat.
What?
That super chat was super.
Said that.
It's right there in the super chat. No, like it's in the super chat. Prograde would knock out Chisora. Don't argue with me.
It almost happened at a press conference.
Chisora would have killed him and probably sat on top of him after.
I got a good one. I got a good one, fellas. Black Cobbs versus Derek Chisora. Who wins and how?
Chisora beat him with a blindfold on, I think.
All right, Andy, who you think wins that fight?
I don't care. No one's beating Rarsauka.
I dig it. I agree with that. Battle, how you look at that fight?
I guess Blair Cobb by split decision.
Good choice. I see knockdowns. I could see Blair getting a knockdown. All right,
But I would like to see so because I remember we was joking about stupid stuff like this. We were saying something like David Price versus Deontay Wilder, and we were saying something like
now, that would be an interesting fight.
We would say Amir Khan versus Derek Chisora. Like we be making up stupid stuff like that. Sometimes we're bored.
I think Price would have had a chance.
Against Amir Khan, I think so too. Against Amir Khan.
Wilder.
You cannot be serious, Amir.
Yo, listen to
If he lands that right hand, maybe.
Listen to what Price knocked out Audley Harrison in his 20-something fight. That was Wilder's close to 30th fight. Both knocked him out in the first round. Around that time, Wilder was on that level.
You never know.
Man, he's trolling you, bro. He can't be serious.
No, this is about 6-7 years ago, though, I'm saying. But back when Wilder, was fighting guys that are really bad, who he should not have been fighting that level of competition. Obviously,
what you saying that a prime David Price is what you saying? Prime David Price beats Deontay Wilder.
I think it would have been competitive. At that time, if they both fighting,
pick to win the fight.
I'd probably go with Wilder. But
nah, you wasn't going to say that.
You got to ask him. You got to ask him. $1,000 on the line. Who would you put the money on?
$1,000 on the line. Who's your money with? H.
Wilder.
No.
Yeah, I can't rely on Price.
Okay, then. Yeah.
Price once he got found.
I'll tell you what though, the Tony Thompson that beat David Price would have beat Wilder. Yeah.
What happened? What?
Yeah.
Man, that fat. Oh my gosh, man.
Tony Thompson that beat David Price two times would have beat Wilder.
I mean, hey man, Wilder got saved by the bell against that dude at Harold.
Oh my god, y'all cannot.
I think Battles forgot the competition Wilder used to fight around that time. Like the guys Wilder was fighting were not very good. So if you fought him, put him in with someone with a pulse.
But Tony Thompson?
Tony motherfucking Thompson and his tube socks. This dude wore tube socks to that, bro.
Yeah, man,
So-
It
Deontay
looked like he
Wilder,
was fighting in a pair of Reeboks in both David Price fights.
bro. Deontay Wilder would knock the titty sweat off of Tony Thompson, bro. That
Bro,
don't make
get
no.
out of here, bro. He's
And
gonna
what?
knock his sweat off of Duapis. He's gonna beat Thompson? Hell no.
Yeah.
Yo, that
Hell
was one of
no.
Luis Ortiz's best wins.
That was
for a
one of the worst beatings in like recent years.
That was one of Luis Ortiz's top names. Like, if you ask a Wilder fan, name Luis Ortiz's top wins, I don't think many of them will know.
Yeah,
Luis
but
Ortiz
that doesn't mean
is
Tony
the
Thompson's
best
going to beat
heavyweight.
Wilder, though.
I never said he did. I said he would be possibly would have
Man,
a
I don't
chance.
give a fuck about none of that shit. All I know is if Wilder would have fought Tony Thompson at the same point in his career that David Price fought
Exactly.
Tony Thompson, Wilder loses the fucking fight.
Exactly.
I swear,
the point I was trying to
every time David Price gets knocked out, I swear they're going to pull him out in the stretcher because it feels that way.
A lot of those guys tested positive. So by David Price, I remember Tepper tested positive after he knocked him out. Tony Thompson knocked him out. He tested positive. I don't know. Christian Hammer knocked him out, and Thing obviously Povetkin. I don't think after those fights, those guys were clean. But I remember there's like a campaign going around that David Price should be unbeaten, but that guy just couldn't hold the shot, man. But
Look,
I
man,
do think him and Fury would have been a good fight. I think Fury.
all I know is that at the time when people finally started knowing who Luis Ortiz was, it was when he beat Bryant Jennings, right? Coming off the loss to Klitschko. And Tony, I think, was coming off a loss too. But that was the height of Ortiz's popularity. That was literally when he got like a little bit known. Nobody knew him after the Coyote fight. They knew him off of, he beat Jennings real good. And then after that, he fought Thompson. I'm saying a prime Tony Thompson with the elastic still in his tube socks beats Wilder.
The guy that went 11 rounds is Klitschko. I don't think Battle remembers Thompson.
Bro, Battle was still in grade school when Tony Thompson had that fight, bro.
Oh my God.
Remember him.
Man. But like a slightly off topic one. You know about the versus battles.
Yeah.
Me and a friend had a versus battle.
All
And
right.
don't laugh at me. I was thinking of picking Wiz. He was going on and on how Future got so many hits. It just would be unfair.
Uh-huh.
So he picked Future, and because they started rapping around the same time, I picked French Montana.
Oh my God.
What do you guys think of? But I was just gonna ask you before you. What do you think about the last one between Faber and Jadakiss?
Man, that was a good one, man. I was actually
I don't
pretty
think that
nice.
was one-sided though.
Yeah, I don't think it was one-sided either. I wouldn't say that.
Fab, people forget. I'm gonna say this. People forget how many hits Fab had. I've been like Fab really been in it like damn near 30 years, bruh.
Mm-hmm. Well, he gonna start playing we're playing basket. I just playing. I just playing.
But I'm gonna say the best one was Teddy Riley with Babyface Edmonds. That was the best one to me.
Mm-hmm.
Cause Teddy, it looked like it was over for Teddy a couple of times, but he hung in there. I still feel Babyface won, but Teddy made a fight out that shit, man.
Yeah, how do you judge those, man? Like a lot of Jadakiss's songs, like obviously I've heard the new one, but a lot of them I never heard. Like when people say that was one-sided, like it depends.
I think he was trying to bring out like the actual like in a rap battle type situation. He had to bring out like the real deal lyrics instead of just playing a song everybody knows. Like I think he just didn't want to do that.
Saying, it's not a preference then about the song you like or the song that was.
Sometimes a lot of people will go off of the popularity of the songs. Like I remember, what was it? Was it the what's Jagged Edge versus I forgot the name. Who did it again? No. It was Jagged Edge versus freaking.
You're talking about the battle.
Yeah. But yeah, sometimes it'd be like that though, where they just go off the complete popularity of the songs.
Can I say this, Battle? I personally don't feel that as far as rap, they should do verses because rap is verses. Y'all, if y'all going battle, then battle. Feel me?
Like actually have a rap battle.
Yeah, I feel
That's
like
what I was thinking.
If you going battle, then battle. With the R&B shit is different because you ain't really going to sit.
You ain't gonna spit no bars now unless you Chris Brown or Tory Lanez. You
Yeah,
know.
like
It don't suit rap though, man. Like, how are
it
you
don't
meant to play
suit,
it?
that's what I meant. That it don't suit rap. Like, bruh, rap is battle rapping. So if y'all gonna have a versus battle, it really should just be a battle, cause this rap is different.
Yeah, because like here's my thing. I don't mean to crap on Future, but we all know, like, as far as battle rapper, I don't think he would just own the cake.
He's got one good song, I think.
One good song.
I
I
don't really
mean,
listen to Future that much.
I wouldn't say that at all. But
Well, I don't
it's-
like his music that much. Anyways, yeah, always.
I mean, if we're
I'm gonna
being,
say this battle. I don't know if you're gonna agree with this. Wiz Khalifa's Rolling Papers is better than anything Future ever did in his life.
see, look. It's funny that you say that. I was gonna pick Wiz. Personally, that would just be completely unfair. So I chose French Montana, and that probably was a worse decision I could have did. I probably should have just chose Wiz, but I thought it'd be unfair because the day before that, I'm sorry, what are you talking about? I don't want to get out of here, but the other day before that, I had battle. He chose Eminem. And you could clearly see that was just a complete mismatch. Like, everything Kanye had is just golden. It wouldn't match up.
Yeah, I mean, Kanye got like really Yeezy. Like, even though he went kind of left, you got to give it to Prime Kanye. Prime Kanye has some joints, man. Like,
Man, not even just Prom. I mean, a lot of people sleep on Life of Pablo, and they sleep on Ye. And I mean, if you just play those songs, and once you hear like those, like, I mean,
Nah, I don't. I listen to his old songs, man. Like Stronger.
Bro,
I don't listen to nothing from Yeezy after 808s. I don't listen.
bro, what? So you don't like you don't like Watch the Throne?
Nah. I don't.
Are you serious?
I'm dead ass.
You don't like No Church? You don't like what's
Wait
that
a
song?
minute. Wait. Watch the Throne. No. All right. I like where. Yeah. And Watch the Throne. All right. I'm with that.
They got Niggas in Paris. You got
Yeah.
That was okay.
I'm with that. All right. I'm
Hey,
with that. But he got weird though. He started talking about leather pants and stuff. Like, bro, why you so
I think my
You
dark
that line too, bro.
I think my Dark Twisted Fantasy came out after 808s too, but maybe I'm wrong on that one.
No. Matter of fact, you know what? Battle, I'm getting old. Forgive me. You're right. My Dark Twisted Fantasy, I liked it. I really liked that album from just an engineering. Like, he really went in that album. So I do like that too. I'll say, okay, what I'm thinking of has to be after that. After that, I stopped messing with Yeezy. Like, when he got on his fashion mode, he getting upset because they won't make him make leather pants or something.
You're weird, man. Weird.
He's weird.
Yo, do you think
homeless man clothes?
So you never like the features he was in, like Wish You Would, or no, that's his song. I'm sorry, but what's another feature?
Look, all right, let's do this. All right, Lloyd Banks, Black Child. Who wins?
I'm not too familiar with Black Child, so I just go with Lloyd Banks.
All right. All right. Let me try to think. Who's a good background dude that all right. Lloyd Banks, Joel Santana.
Lloyd Banks again. Lloyd Banks got that. What is it? Did he do that Beamer, Benz, or Bentley? And then you got the freaking. I know this song kind of cheesy, but I like that 50 Cent. I say hands up.
All right. DJ Premier or DJ Quick?
Gotta go Premier.
I mean, I don't know. That might be a close one. Now that's a good one. Has there ever been a DJ battle?
I think
there was one.
Which one?
Recently, there was one recently. I forgot the name. What about Eminem or Kanye? Who didn't go to
that? I did with a friend, and Kanye would just blow him away.
Look. Let's do this for Eminem, because people put Eminem in places that he don't match Eminem with Kanye. They make different types of music. You got to put Eminem in there with a lyricist. Kanye and I don't consider Kanye is not necessarily a lyricist. He's a good musician. Good engineer.
Yeah, I say he's a fair too, man. That dude,
Who do you? Yo,
like,
you got
I
did
would
you?
put Eminem in the realm of Jada, Beans, bar for bar battle rappers that go syllable for syllable. Them kind of guys.
Of course, yeah. But I
I'm not gonna
mean,
put that would be like if I put Eminem with Petey Pablo. North Carolina, come on and raise up, take your turbo. It don't make
Hold on,
sense.
the thing about
what about 50 and Ti then? What about that? What
Oh,
you
that's
think
a
of
good
that?
battle. That's a
I
good
don't know about
it's
that, man.
looking it's
I
looking
think
like
it's a
we
good
probably
idea.
it's kind of looking like we won't see it because I don't think 50 Cent. I don't know. He hasn't responded to it.
I want to address this comment. I've wanted someone to ask me this question for such a long time. Here is my answer to this question, SSB. Lord Jamar is not the Lord of hip hop. He is not the heir apparent, nor is he the ambassador of all the hip hop. Music is for everyone. You understand? Art is for everyone. And it ain't up to Lord Jamar and his salty ass to tell somebody that they a guest when it comes to making music. That's not up to him. All right. I don't care if Eminem is from Detroit or wherever. I don't care. Like, that's not up to him. Music is for everyone. And if he, as a musician, don't understand that, that should tell you why he never went far as a
All right,
musician.
I got
Yeah,
one.
he doesn't determine it.
Are
Yeah.
they
guys
trying
think
to
of
say?
What do you guys think of Common, Most Def?
Most
Ooh.
that's not
Probably.
most
No. Wait a minute.
I just
Comment.
want you to know.
Prom Comment got some nice hits now.
I'm not, yeah, but not more than most def is most. See, this is the thing. I look at it like this: most def can make Common type of stuff, but Common can't make all the type of stuff that most def make. Feel me? Most
Mm-hmm.
def is
Yeah,
more
that's true.
versatile to me than
What
Common.
about Common and Drake then? They had
Come
some
Drake
shit.
would kill. Drake would kill everybody.
Bruh,
Drake will kill everybody. It's not even a
you can't
Are we
put
competition,
talking?
bro.
Are we talking
you
bars
can't
or
put
No,
Aubrey.
not
no?
bars.
Drake, I
But
would say more like Drake and LL Cool J.
no. Wait. Are we talking
LL would.
about,
I think LL would.
bro? Here's the thing: how versus battle works. At least when I see a lot of people voting, it goes off hits. So Drake would
Yeah,
just kill
exactly.
almost every. He would just kill any and everybody that tries to battle him as far as
Yeah, but
rappers go.
you gotta think about this. Exactly what they're saying when Fab and Jada. Drake got a lot of hits that was like R&B songs. A lot of his hip hop songs. I don't know. Are they bigger hits? And who did I just
Because
say was?
LL had hits for generations.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
LL
but
had
not
that.
enough than Drake though. Drake,
not yeah, like Drake. People don't realize Drake has been like he like low key a OG right now because he been rocking for like a decade or something. Like,
bro, like he was hot when I was in middle school, bro. Like, okay, here's the thing. I think the song that really brought him out, I remember because I know a lot of people like was not like
LL's got
kind
like
of
three different decades on the guy, man.
like
I don't even know how that.
no. Here's the thing though. Here's the thing.
I don't know,
Now
bro.
I remember when Drake first came out. I knew who he was because I used to watch Degrassi. So like when I first heard him, I thought he was kind of lame. I heard his mixtapes and I was like, yeah, he's not that bad. I was like, I'm a rock with him. And the song he came out with, I think was like best I ever had. So
Forever.
you gotta think
No, it's forever.
you gotta think about it. People use feature tracks. So you gotta include all the YMCMB tracks, like the Money to Blow, the
Because the thing
Bedrock.
about it is that LL was going platinum from 85 to 2000, bro.
yeah, but we not
That's what I'm
getting
trying to
it. Ain't
say.
that? It's
But
that. Look,
here's the
if
thing.
you play some old Drake shit from that 2000 2010 around there, all of that type shit, right? If you start playing old Drake songs, bruh, I swear to God, it's gonna teleport you to a different place. I swear to
I
God.
swear, like once you start playing successful, or you play that,
Yeah,
I
like,
swear, what's that fall for your type, or you play,
bro, like if you play, depending on the Drake song, bro, I'm back in Manhattan. I'm back in New York. That's how I'm gonna feel. Like it teleport me back to like, oh shit. It just
So
it's
what
it,
about if LL played his?
nah,
He had
man.
see,
Like
it ain't gonna be enough. It ain't like I said, LL would just kill him as far as bars go. Everybody knows that. I mean, it's just the hits wise, it ain't gonna be enough. Like, don't get me wrong,
I
he
don't.
has
I think people's memory is just goes back a bit. If you go back to the 90s, I don't even think that's.
bro, the people that would vote for LL died of cholesterol and heart failure. That's what I'm trying to tell. Like, like it ain't gonna work, bro. It
I
ain't
mean,
gonna
if he,
work.
I mean, of course, he probably gonna play the. Well, like, what's some LS? So he gonna play the Roster Bells. He gonna play the
Hush,
freaking.
Phenomenon, Ain't Nobody. I don't know.
Something
He's
like a
got a lot of.
phenomenon. Something like, man, look, man, you
I
can't like
don't I
look.
don't think that's even the biggest hit.
Can I
The man
tell
was
you
going
something?
gold
Let me just, I'm
2006.
trying to help you understand, Ahmed, that like a lot of times, right? See, this is what's not being said, right? A lot of times when you heard Drake music in the background, right? You was probably like getting a blowjob or something. Like you was just somewhere, you was at a party, you was in a club. That's the memories that's gonna come up when that Aubrey music come out. You see what I'm saying? That nightlife music. That's where it take me. So if you tell me you got a versus battle between LL and Drake, well, I was a child more or less when L was doing his thing. I was young. Whereas Aubrey was doing his thing. Oh, I'm all over the place. I'm getting all kinds of fun shit. So when you play that music, it's gonna have a different effect than if you play some old school. Mama said, "Knock you out." Like,
Yeah,
bruh.
yeah,
How
yeah, yeah,
long?
bro. Yeah,
How
that's a good
long has
point.
Drake been around though? 2000. I didn't hear him up until about 2010.
But it
That's
wouldn't.
around.
How man? It really wouldn't matter. How? Okay, Lil Wayne hasn't. Wait, would you say Lil Wayne has been out as long as LL? Because he's been
He
rapping since he
has
was.
because remember when he was when he was with Hot, what was it, Hot Boys?
Yeah, Hot Boys. Yeah, he was like around 15, 16.
He like nah, even he was like 13 years old with them guys,
He
man.
was 13. Yeah, I got my numbers off. Okay.
Bro, he's
Um.
boppity wide dropping like it's hot. Man, he was shit.
Let me. What's another good example? Trying to think. Uh. I mean, but even then, he just has so many hits. Like everybody knows, almost every single year, Drake is likely to win a Grammy because he's just everything he comes out with is
All
just
right,
like
so what about bars?
golden.
I don't remember. No, it's not that. It's remember. We're not. It's not a rap battle, so you can't treat it like it's a
He's
rap
talking about
battle.
Yeah,
hits. He's talking
it's
about
not a
When
hits.
the
rap
song,
battle. You
when the
have to
song
understand.
come on, if you start moving and you start fitting, you feel like you in another place. Like that's what happened when I was listening to the Teddy Riley, Babyface shit. I'm like, ooh, I ain't heard that shit in a minute. It's the effect that it has, and I'm telling you right now, you can't put a generational gap like that. LL is a different generation of people than
Hey, bro,
Aubrey.
that's Ghostface, bro. Obviously, bro. Ghostface again. Thunder's production said Style P versus Ghostface.
Nah, I'll go Matt. Damn, that's tough.
Bro, he's
No,
with
no,
Wake.
wait. You gotta think
He's with
about
Raekwon and Wu Tang, bro.
holiday. I gotta make it to heaven for going through hell. Chill, bro.
Man, Ghostface will win that one, man.
Battle. Here's why they call me the ghost. I'm half live, half dead. When it's beef, I bring all of the toast. You
Yeah.
understand? I got more guns than most New York, and I don't gotta say shit because the toss is the talk. Holiday style. Chill, son. Chill,
Yeah.
chill.
What about J Cole and Drake then?
What
You think
about
that'd
J.
be?
Cole? I'm not talking
It's
about
still
none of these
still
diet
not
rappers,
close.
bro.
All
Don't
right,
talk
how
to me
about
about diet
how
rappers.
about
You
Beastie
want to know
Boys or
you want to know the
DMC?
only person who can go toe to toe with Drake is Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
That's the only person. As far as hits,
And we don't want
that
no
is
problems. Okay, you're a goon. What's the
what's it
goon?
going to a
It depends who you
goblin.
ask. It just
I
Yo,
love hustler music.
shit. That was my
Go what you were saying, bro?
Run DMC and Beastie Boys.
Mm.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Um,
Let's still go run
probably say
DMC.
Run D. Yeah,
I
I'd say
mean,
Run D.
do Run DMCs like translate to like do people even still play those? Because on the they might be played out. Like I still like it,
Nah,
but they
they
might.
play. No, I'm gonna keep it a bean battle because I gotta say the things that nobody want to say. Right? All right. Here's the reality. Run DMC is the generational gap is too broad. You talking about people that's like 40, 45 years old, bro. That's who you play that for. That's how far removed it is. So nah, it ain't gonna rock. It's people don't like. I'm telling you, people not playing that no more. Right now, the quote unquote old school shit is like some cash money millionaires. I'm from the ghetto, homie. Believe it or not, that's the old school shit now. Not even
Mm-hmm.
on DMC.
But like that hip hop rock and roll trance like I mean don't get me wrong, it's ambitious. Like if you know me, I love gorillas. I really love gorillas. But I mean even then I think their songs are a little more equated to what like listening to over time. Like I don't think a lot of people will actually go back and listen to the, you know, brr, 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 I forget the name of that song, like the the Run DMC song,
Oh
but
yeah, yeah. It's too long ago, bro. Like I'm gonna say this right. This is gonna sound crazy to people, right? Like anybody that had Ja Rule first album, Veni Vedi Vici, right? It was a dope album, by the way. But that's like an old school album now. Like that's like some real old school hip hop right now.
You want to know what's funny? That friend I battled, who had who had Eminem as his person of verses, he read an article on the hottest artists, the hottest rappers between I think he read it from the 90s to all the way to like 2019. And I didn't see Ja Rule not once in the 2000s. I was like, that sounds fishy to me. Cause okay,
Nah,
it sounds.
you know what it was? See, this is the thing. People not realizing that little by little, right? Decade after decade, hip hop became more mainstream. Now, Ja was popping in a way, like, but he was just popping in hip hop. You see what I mean? Like, it was really just hip hop. He never went to that place that Drake went. Drake went like, and I'm not trying to sell nobody short, but what I'm saying is the music that Drake made, everybody everywhere was playing that shit.
But here's the thing though. You know who beat him out though? And it wasn't because let's be honest, around that time Eminem was just fully translating. I think he still kind of made like some ambitious music, but it was Eminem. So it wasn't like Eminem was just making so much music that was just translating. Like Ja Rule had to translate music. You remember the like everybody was playing that. Like
bro, only play like where would I be without you?
Yeah, like he was like
it was, and this is the funny thing. It's not that it wasn't wildly successful, relatively speaking, and for all accounts, it was successful. Yes, it was getting money, but it did not go to that place where Drake went, and I would say where Lil Wayne went, because Lil Wayne went places too, man. Like the Carter 3, that shit was getting a lot of love.
That was like the biggest. I'm gonna tell you one thing. At least for me, when I look at it, like as far as my life, I think the biggest like albums I think people used to play nonstop in middle school was the Carter 3, and it was a Waka Flocka album. I can't remember the name of it. It was what was it? It was a Waka Flocka album.
I could say wholeheartedly, I have never even heard a Waka Flocka album, bro. I could say that.
What was it like? I think it was an album. It was like, man, let me look it up.
All I'm gonna say is that if you grew up in my generation, you'll know.
Maybe it was a mixtape.
If you grew up in my generation, you'll know that Ja was successful with his R&B collaboration. So it's not that he wasn't successful, but he didn't hit that final tier to where it's everywhere, like the common cold, like coronavirus. It's everywhere. He never got to that.
Was it Flockavelli? It was maybe it was Flockavelli. I'm trying to remember.
Bro, I never sat down because that around when Waka started coming in, I started distancing myself from music a little bit because I'm like and trash, bro. Like I'm just not listening to none of this.
Yeah, but yeah, like if we had those battles, bro, we have to like even it out, bro. It can't just be no people just just slaughtering people in these hits, man. Like I said, like that Kanye one, I don't think I would pick Kanye against Eminem again because that's just too much of a slaughter, man. And it's not to say Eminem is a bad rapper. Well, I don't believe that at all. It's just
this is what I'm gonna say. Kanye, right? I think that's an even battle, but it depends on what audience you talking to. It does, because comparatively, if we go, remember what we playing. We playing a game where it's the crowd reaction that determines the victor, right? That's a good point. That's essentially what we're doing. So if you think about it, I'm gonna look at what these albums did, and bruh, that fucking Marshall Mathers LP went diamond at a time when ain't nobody going diamond except for Nelly with that fucking
it's getting hot in here.
Yeah, man. Nelly's a motherfucker, man, for that. Think I'm on your thing.
You remember he did he went pop, remember?
Yeah.
It was all a dream.
That was yo, look, man. I still got that song in my phone, bro.
Are you serious?
That's look, man. Can I be honest? That fucking song was dope, bro. That's my shit, bro.
Really?
That was my shit for a while.
Usher went kind of pop too.
Me thinking about us, what's gonna be? That was my shit for a minute, man. You crazy?
Man, I remember people used to get on me because I used to like that J-Lo song. You remember that? Dance the night away. Man, people used to get on me so bad.
Oh, shit, man.
Let's think about that for a second. Imagine if let's just say the rappers that didn't change over. Imagine if they went pop like DMX or
Oh, I couldn't see that.
bro. What's a good example? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, Ludacris was popping.
I was about to say Kendrick Lamar, but I don't think he really needs to. Ludacris. Let's just say Ludacris went pop. Like, think about that. Like, what songs would he be making though? That would be insane. Or Rick Ross.
If you want to be honest, right? Ludacris is actually underrated in this kind of arena because if you put on that Get Back, as soon as that beat drop, everybody.
Dun. You want to know what's funny? If you look at the comment, okay, it's funny how people get like famous again. Because if you look at, there's a lot of songs that people will use in certain medias, and it will blow immediately up because everybody's seen it in a certain media. Because you remember how people kept playing that. You remember how like when Vine was popping, and everybody kept playing "Grind on Me" because they kept freaking humping teddy bears and stuff. So that song blew up because everybody was watching on Vine. So just like that. Don't get me wrong, X Gonna Give It to You was always a popular song, but once Resident Evil 2 came out, there was this meme where this guy named Mr. X would chase you around, and they used to play that song constantly, just to make fun of it, and that song blew even higher. Like it's crazy how songs.
I'm gonna ask you, Battle. You remember the Viners, right? You remember Gabby Hanna?
No, who that? You said. Do I remember what?
You remember the Viners that they was like fake Vine, like they was like popular.
Gabby Hanna. What type of video she made?
She was like a comedian, bro, but she had the fattest motherfucking ass, man. Oh my god!
Are you talking about the Filipino chick?
I don't know what the hell she is. That's all right.
And what about her?
No, she just had a big ass. That's all I wanted to say. She just had a big old ass.
Man, Vine was the days, man. That was funny as crap, man. I remember I saw that Vine when there was you remember Perp Drink?
I think so.
He's the dude who makes fun of Lil Wayne all the time. He'd be like, I take a picture of a spider, call it webcam.
Really? The only one that really came up off of Vine that like he really for real came up is King Batch.
King Batch, yeah. He in movies now. Like he's on The Babysitter. It's on Netflix.
Cause like he really him and the joint that's dating Tommy Lee, but she actually was kind of in.
You talking about the chick with the mole, like the Brazilian chick?
Nah, she.
You talking about Lily Pons? I think you're talking about.
They still popping. Her and the Hannah joint is still popping, but they popping on some like I don't even know. Like how are y'all popping? Like I don't understand. Like what are y'all popping for? But
she used to do a lot of joint videos with King Batch, so
I guess. But it's like that's what I mean about the era. What ushered in the era of you ain't even got to really be able to do shit to be fit. Cause I'm like, y'all wasn't really that funny. Like out of the Viners, y'all wasn't really that funny. Like not really. But you know.
Well, you're like to address the people in the comments. Like I think a big thing of Luda, like as far as the 2000s, like him and his features were just like the best thing like ever. Because I remember when I was in elementary school. Glamorous was like one of the hottest songs ever. Like people could not stop singing it, even though like you couldn't actually like say most of the song because of like the swearing in it. So yeah, that was a popping song. That was like the most popping song like in the as far as I was in elementary
Ah,
school.
yeah, he just said it. I got hoes. I got hoes in different
Different
areas.
area code, area.
I hoes.
Oh.
What do y'all think? You think Eminem is a guest in hip hop?
No. Obviously, he just talking out of his butt.
Listen, man. Music. If you ever done music, right, in any capacity, like just in any capacity, whether you were an engineer, a producer, or you did a little bit of rapping yourself, you're not gonna qualify no dumbass statement like that. Music is for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. Rock music is for everybody. Understand that. Rock music, to me, as far as I'm concerned, came from James Brown. But that don't mean I can't appreciate some Nirvana or some Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, like imagine if something like what's a rock band like a really popping one. Imagine if uh let's just say like I'm trying to think of what's a good rock band like today.
Look,
Today?
I'm gonna put it this way, right? I'm gonna put it this way. Blues, right? We know where blues came from, basically. We know where it came from. The Motown sound, all of that type of stuff, right? We know where it came from, right? But that don't mean I can't turn around today in 2020 and appreciate some Adele. And that's essentially the kind of music that she's singing. She's singing blues, more or less, just with a different bass line than what they used to use back in the day. But the idea is that, like, yo, music is for everybody, dog. Music is about instruments and pitch and sound and evoking emotions with sound. That's what music is about. So for Lord Jamar and his never was, like, you below Joe Budden on the Richter scale, bro. Like, Joe Budden never blew, and you never blew under Joe Budden, bro. You was never popping nowhere.
Yeah,
Nobody
like
was never like, yo, let me play that Lord Jamar for me, please.
yeah, like imagine if like I'll just say Arctic Monkeys uh called out the what's the black singer with the you remember the rock song like how you like me now like he like imagine if he said he was a guest in rock music like that nobody would like
Yeah, imagine
what.
like if somebody said Hootie and the Blowfish was guessing in alternative sound. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, like
They made their music, bro. That was what they felt like saying. That's what they felt like saying. That's like saying Lenny Kravitz is a guessing rap. Like, bro, get out of here with your bullshit. Like, get out of here. You
yeah,
mad
like
that he blew? You mad that he blew, and you don't think he's saying nothing. But whatever he's saying, more people want to hear it than they want to hear you, because the hood don't even want to hear you.
bro, like this is the thing I know. This is the thing I noticed about black people. Like, it's like if you cool, like you have your fresh shake. Like they not gonna try to just put you out of the corner. Eminem has his fair shake. He done everything he needed to do in a rapper. Everybody respect him now. But Lord Jamar got to just mess up everything. Just
More out of pocket, because it's like, yo, look, Jada was always I'm not gonna say hood rich. More than that, Jada was always real heavy in the streets, right? He was always real heavy in the streets, more so than mainstream music. Lord Jamar never achieved that, bro. You never achieved that. I'd rather listen to Sheik Luch 7 days out of 8. No, 8 days out of 7, right? And listen to Lord Jamar, bro. You was never popping nowhere. When I want to listen to some real classic stuff from when I was young, bro, I ain't gonna listen to no goddamn Lord Jamar. Like, for what? What the hell? Like, you bitter because you see he doing it big, and he carved out his own lane. Because that's the other thing I'm gonna say about music. When you real good, right? Can't nobody duplicate a Pac song to you, bro. When you want
Lord
Pac, you go to Pac.
Sip. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. I think Sip Bud. He said it perfectly. Country don't accept Lil Nas.
Randy even
Country
much
sing-
to listen to a Lord Jamar. He only has one solo album.
Yeah,
Bulk of his work was with Brand Nubian.
10 years from now, right? Because 10 years from when Lord Jamar first came out, they wasn't talking about him. So 10 more years after that, they still ain't gonna be talking about him. The only reason we talking about him is because he talking about somebody else. If Vlad TV didn't sit there asking you them stupid ass questions like anybody gives a rat's ass what you think, right? We wouldn't even be talking about you right now.
like you remember, like I think it was Vince Staples said that other day that Atlanta got the best rappers of all time. It is not even close. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I mean, I love Atlanta rappers, but I mean, you can't. I don't think that's true. I mean,
That's accurate at all because the trailblazers of hip hop that molded the environment we have today are East Coast rappers and West Coast rappers, and they took it to. I always big up the G Funk and DJ Quick and Dog Pound, Corrupt and Daz and all them guys. They took it to a place. If anything, I'm gonna say that the South and a lot of people not gonna like this. I'm gonna say that the South ruined hip hop. Because
how dare you?
as soon as people like, look, the Mike Jones shit was catchy as shit. Mike Jones, but yo, dog, he's saying his name by 30 times on the track. And
I can't believe you, Ring IQ.
Find that? Y'all
you hate it, man.
When the West had it, not only did they make it a little better, they added the G-Funk to it. Like, ooh, these beats is different than what you get from the East Coast, kid. You took it to the South, you chopped it and screwed it. I liked it. I did like it. The chopped and screw. I liked it. And I like certain cats that was in the South. Like I was never big on No Limit. But I respect what P did. I really like what Cash Money did.
Bro. I remember I was trying to listen to motherfucking Silk the Shocker. I got cancer from that shit.
Oh my god! Do you hear this? Do you hear this disrespect?
Only in the South was Silk the Shocker be popping. Cause up in the East Coast, we was hurting. Our ears was like, yo, why they putting this guy on the beat? He can't even rock.
So you forgetting about you forgetting about T.I., you forgetting about Luda, you forgetting
inspiration from him.
You forgetting about T.I., you forgetting about Luda, you forgetting about Outkast.
Here's what the South did for hip hop when I was coming up. Shake watch so shake.
Oh my gosh.
What was working with? Like,
no.
It has a novelty. It has a novelty, yeah. But nah, bro, that ain't the same as when the East had it. You're not going to tell me that the South did for it what Wu-Tang did for it. Nah, you're not going to
wait, look, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Okay, now, of course, I got a lot to say about this topic, but, like, here's the thing. I think we can have an intelligent conversation about this. I would like to invite a friend of mine because he's really big on this. Like he actually argues these type of topics like with me every day about Southern rappers. He think they did more for hip hop than like just about anything. So
Southern rappers is the reason Young Thug is no. I'm not going to let y'all do this to hip hop. All right, Southern rappers is the reason why Lil Uzi Vert and Migos and all these weirdos, these guys. They running around because of Southern rap. That's how that happened. That's how that happened. Right?
I'll say this. The disrespect, man. It's so much disrespect.
I appreciate Southern rap, but I have to admit that they fucking led to the degradation of bars in hip hop. You don't need to know how to rap anymore.
Bro, bro,
hold on. Let me talk to Jerome real quick. Jerome, I like Ghetto Boys, right? I use one of their beats for the relay, so obviously I like the Ghetto Boys. Obviously I like Scarface. But is he all of the Southern rappers? No.
I mean, but you're forgetting about the other ones though. Like did you forget about Outkast? You forget about Lil Wayne? You forget about Ludacris, T.I., 3 6 Mafia? I mean, are you forgetting about 8 Ball, MJG, like or freaking where E40 from?
He from the Bay, man. He's not from the South.
West Coast.
Oh, okay. What are you forgetting about Pimp C? Shoot, like
he was from Philly. Damn, Philly's still taking L's in 2020. I ain't know that. That's crazy.
Unbelievable, man.
Of the guys we have now, Ludacris has bars. Go listen to fucking like Playboy Cardi on this shit.
I mean, everybody knows that though. But like, here's the thing though. I like to see it as everybody is okay. I don't like to say it like this because a lot of people get offended. But everybody is in a sense recreating like a certain style. Now everybody has their style. East Coast have their style. West Coast have their style. Southern people.
Yo, look. This is the way we ball, and we like the floss. All my diamonds gloss. That's what the South gave us, bro. I represent the dirty, 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 dirty. That's what was going on, bro.
Yeah, bro. Like, do you want to know? Do you understand why they're as big as they is? Because a lot of people can relate to what they're saying, bro. Like that's
I
it, it, it's
what I'm saying, what
it's
I'm
the same. It's the same reason why you see like everybody is bigging up certain New York rappers that even ain't all that
I,
great.
I
But
get what you're saying, but
yeah, left it,
again,
left
the
it.
oh my god, did you just don't you disrespect D4L like that,
I
man?
get what you're saying, but the South did fuck up quality
Oh,
control. And
bro,
I'm
it took
sorry.
you this long. It took you this long to turn tail and then get with Ring IQ.
What?
Ah,
I'm gonna always have a special place in my heart. For example, I'm always have a special place in my heart for 3-6 Mafia, right? But schlop on my knob, like current on the call. Check in with me and do your
Like
job.
there definitely are some rappers who have bars. I'm telling you.
Like, bro, like
There's
that's
like
some. It's a lot of them. We just forget. We're just forgetting about them right now. It's just okay. Here's the thing. There are a lot of
that's not the
mumble.
mainstream now.
Here's the thing. Now, the fact of the matter is, there are a lot of mumble rappers right now that are hot, but we're forgetting about all the other people who are just amazing as far as Southern rap. You know, just that quick, just because we want
bro,
to compare them to East Coast and West Coast.
no battle. This is essentially what I'm communicating. You're treating it like I'm saying that the South did not shell out good music. That's not what I'm saying. What
Yeah. You're right.
I'm saying,
But here,
let me get this across and then I'm gonna pass it to you. This what I mean. That the East Coast had an era and it was good for rap. And then the West Coast got it and it was good for rap. They actually added something to rap that the East Coast didn't even add to it. They had the G Funk. To this day, I love G Funk. That's my favorite kind of beats. Now the South got it for a while, and it was all right for a while. It was legit. Like, nah, it's all right. Like they got their own with T.I. and Lil Wayne, Cash Money, No Limit, and Luda, couple of guys. Yeah, it was all right for a while. But now it's all like what the hell? Like this ain't even nothing no more. Like, and it's because the South got it, and they still got it. And yo, I don't listen to nothing no more, bro. To keep it a bean, it's so bad. I'd rather listen to Aubrey from Toronto than listen to what we got going on over here.
man, I can't believe what I'm hearing. Man, but I highly disagree, man. I mean, I don't see it that way. But the thing is, man, everybody
There,
gonna have
there,
this.
there are a bunch of Southern rappers who have bars, but they're not the ones who are getting the mainstream attention.
I mean, who are we talking about in particular? We just preparing like to Migos or in who else? Who else you said Ring IQ?
Who was it? Young Thug, Rich Homie Quan. Them. Oh my God, that's terrible,
Rich homie Quan ain't bad. I mean,
bro. Come on, dog. Like, what you want? Like,
Future.
bro,
come on, man.
you know he write music for people too, right?
I'm just saying, when you rap like that, it ain't hard to write it.
Okay.
It ain't that hard to write it.
Now,
They'll be something like to
hey,
write
Ring
the lyrics
IQ,
after.
you should start a live stream tomorrow. And we could talk about this, bro. And we
No,
gonna make
now wake up, Mr. Fresh Giggles gonna get mad at me, bro. I never said Nori was this and that. I always thought of Nori as like Nori as a parody rapper. I always thought of Capone as being a rapper.
homeboy. I came to party.
Like I
Your
never,
girl was looking at me.
like you can't. Don't bring me Nori, bro. You know what we got on this side. You know what we got on this side, bro. Like, come on, you gonna bring up Nori of all people? Like I'm saying, like Nori changed. Like, nah, I ain't say that. We had some funny type sounding cats over here too.
Mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah, Ring IQ favorite rapper is Big L, bro.
Stop it. Stop it. A lot of people don't like me for saying this, even in Harlem, where I'm from. I rather listen. It's not, I think Big L was nice. I think highly of him that he was good. But I also think had he not died, motherfuckers would not be talking about him like that. That's that. Oh, after he died, he was the greatest guy effect. Feel me? Like I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I put Big L up there with Biggie. No, I don't do that. And I don't put him up there with Pac. I don't do that neither. I don't do that. He didn't get far enough for me to put him up there. I just think, yeah, he was nice, man. He probably would have did a lot of shit. But you know what? He didn't do a lot of shit. So stop it.
Man, I don't think you like really listening to the bars that be spitting out, man. Once you actually listen to them, like, okay, here's my thing. There's a lot of people, at least where I was growing up in, that was big on Lil Webby. I personally never liked Lil Webby. I didn't listen to much of his music because I mean, okay, I was forced to listen to a decent amount of his music because everybody was listening to it. It was I think it was like once I went to a certain school, it was two rappers I heard the most. Besides, like,
Yo,
but like,
hold on. He won't go in on one for the money, two for the lie. You bugging out, bro. You bugging out. Like Lost Boys has some shiz. You bugging out. Don't talk about Lost Boys being in the. I mean, Nori was more commercially successful than Lost Boys, but Lost Boys has some shiz, bro. What is you talking about?
what's the name wanted the link too? He couldn't believe what you was talking about. Ring got Q.
I was bigging up the West Coast, and he know that. I'm always gonna big up the West Coast. So stop it. I always gonna big up the West.
Hey,
I've always loved what they did for hip hop.
If you start a live stream about this, can I invite that friend I was talking about? Because he had these conversations all the time. So like, I really want to invite.
No. We going to do it again, and we going to structure it, and we going to have to do a little bit of homework on it because we talking about remember when it went to the South, right? And it's been at the South for a while now. Like it's really still there, more than it's on the East and more than it's on the West, right? You can't tell me that it's in a good place right now, bro. You can't convince me that it's in a good place. It's not, bro.
Mm-mm. So New York is in a good place right now.
No, that's not true. When New York had it, hip hop was in a good place and it was growing. When the West had it, it was in a great place and it was growing. Then it went back to New York for a while with Jay and Jada and all these guys, and then the West had got it back a little. Game came out a little bit, but it was still really in the South, and it's really been in the South ever since. I'm saying for the early portion of when the South got it, it was still rocking. Like, yeah, it's some good shit. T.I., Luda.
Yeah, T.I., Luda, like freaking Andre 3000. You got UGK. I mean,
but I never discounted them. I'm saying that it's still there, and now, it's not really in a good place. It's not.
So who's taking over hip hop right now? You think it's still the South?
No, I think that the South got it, and they got it. Period. They got it right now. Music don't sound like East Coast music no more.
In terms of popularity, in terms of money, the South
in terms of East Coast music, a lot of
bars. I can't say the South got it. Like at least compared to East and West Coast.
The sound in music. Look, in the music industry, right? There's in eras. There's a sound, an underlying sound that they're always trying to emulate, right? It's always like this, right down to what drums and what snares and what hi-hats you choose to use for a beat. And that's how I know that the South really got it right now, because that's more or less the kind of sound that they trying to put out. They're not putting out beats for you to rap to them. They're putting out beats for you to mumble to them. That's how I know that the South still got it. The sound that they're trying to put out is a Southern sound. It's not an East Coast sound. It damn sure ain't G-Funk. Because if it was G-Funk, I'd be a happy camper.
Man, that's just how they talk, right? It's just that ain't them trying to mumble rap. That's just actually them talking.
But even if that's how they talk, then I don't want to hear your song, bro. I don't want to hear your song, bro. What the hell you talking about?
Sure that's how they talk? I mean,
yeah, that's how they talk. Like you think Rich Homie is putting on you think he's putting on a voice for this, like the audience? Like, no. Like you think Kodak? Oh, okay. You think Kodak raps like that, like just for show?
I never think Kodak rap, Kodak Black, like, bro, huh? Chill, bro. Like Juvenile for the 99 and 2000. Now what we got? Kodak Black? Nah.
Oh man.
I'm finding that nowadays it's becoming harder to differentiate between a singer and a rapper. I'm gonna be honest. You got a guy, you slap them with some auto tune, put him on a trap beat, and they're a rapper.
No, you been listening to Lucci. You been listening to Lucci too much, man.
You know what I'm saying? I even big up Bubba Sparks. Like Bubba Sparks album wasn't bad. Paul Wall album wasn't bad. So it's not like I'm saying like, oh, all the Southern rappers of all the eras suck. No, the Southern rap.
No, they're definitely not.
Nah, like T.I. had his for days.
So what's your definition of good for hip hop?
That they added a sound to it. Well, one, my definition of okay, good for hip hop. You bringing money into it, obviously, but you're growing it. You're expanding the audience. You are talking about the culture, right? You're talking about the culture, but at the same time, you're not exploiting it. You understand? Because it was a lot of rappers in when I was coming up. They're like, look at Ja Rule. Ja Rule is an example of what I consider exploiting the culture. They're like, bro, you're not even really like that. You're not a gangster. You a mouthpiece. Like all that shit you be talking about, you don't do none of that shit. The fuck are you talking about? You not that guy. I consider that exploiting the culture. Cause you sitting here singing about drug money and guns and all this freak shit, but you ain't nothing but a mouthpiece for drug dealers that's laundering their money. That's all you are. You are not an artist. See what I'm saying?
King Mitch disagrees.
That's all right. He can do that. He's at liberty to disagree.
The issue that I have nowadays is that you have guys getting success who not only can't rap, but aren't even saying anything that you can understand. That's the thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like now, it's not. See, the way I look at it now, right? Music is art. Art is self-expression, right? That's literally how art works. It's self-expression. So you can write a song and you talking about whatever the hell it is you talking about that pertains to you. That's what makes it an art form. That's what makes it music. The shit these cats is doing, that you're not talking about a goddamn thing. The only thing you sound like to me is high. That's all I hear. They're like, I use high and you be high a lot. That's what I hear. You high and you be high a lot. And you.
I mean, what's the name said it perfectly. Wake up, Mr. Fresh. He said the South added the unity while East and West beef super hard amongst themselves. Because that's like the ultimate goal, like what it seemed like a lot of Southern rappers be trying to do. They try to bring people together. Like we having a good time. We ain't hurting nobody. We just having a good time. And like that's what I hear at least when I'm listening to in music. Look, it ain't about always sticking somebody up or freaking.
I ain't talking about sticking somebody up. That's the other thing. I mean, like, look. The South got it. It ain't like I'ma fucking listen to it. So it don't even matter to me, though. Like to me, it don't matter. Cause I'm like, man, I'm listening to that shit anyway. I'm gonna just wait for it to go back to the east or the west. When it go back to the east or the west, then I'll start listening to it again. Till it go back, I'm not listening, bro. And I'm hoping it goes to the west. Cause I'm a profound lover of G-Funk beats.
I'll be honest, bro. I've been listening to fucking like UK rap at this point.
Bro, I'd rather listen to Tiny Temper than most of what's coming out.
Are you serious? Oh, written in the stars. Written in the... he be listening to that. What's that Wiz Khalifa song? What's that song? I'll be back one day. He be listening to that.
Bro, my shit was.
I'm right time in Switzerland. Right time in Monaco.
True colors when I pull up in that white on white. Good God.
Don't get me wrong.
What's the dude, the British rapper, like, man, don't care about all that. You be listening to him.
Hey man, get on that motherfucking heady one, bro.
My gosh.
Like I said, till the East get it back or the West get it back, I'm not in it, bro. I'm not listening to this motherfucking cough syrup, whatever this shit is.
So you don't like Future?
No.
I'm gonna say this. It has entertainment value. Like I will if I just want to like nod my head to something, I'll put on some of like Gunna or some shit. But if I have to break it down as like the quality of the lyrics, they're not saying shit. And these guys,
no, G Perico is nice, bro.
Read that shit for me, please, bro. I just want to see how it sounds when somebody try to pronounce it.
UK rap is Garbaggio. I'm sorry.
What?
Motherfucker, Italian name, B. It's got about
That's probably actually in the dictionary, in the Italian dictionary.
oh,
Man,
I'm gonna be honest with you, it took me a while to get used to the accents when it came to UK rap. But once I did, these guys have bars. They spit.
nah. I mean, I'm gonna say
Hey
this
man.
right. I'm
hey, Ring, do you like Tank?
nah. I don't even know who the fuck that is, bro. To
You
be honest,
don't know Tank, the singer?
how about Javante Davis?
No. Tank, the singer, like, please don't go. Please. Like, you never heard that? Oh my god.
Now, no, I told you I'm out of it, bro. Like I'm out.
KRIT is good.
No. Tank is not new. He's not
KRIT
new.
got bars.
Wait a minute. You talking about wait. You talking about the dude that the skinny dude used to wear the cornrows?
He had cornrows. I always remember him having a low cut, but he's the guy who sings the what else he sang?
He
Oh my
sung a
god.
hook. Didn't he sing a hook? Wasn't he the one singing number one stunner? Ain't nothing gonna change it. Wasn't that him?
Oh my god. Like, how am I forgetting Tank songs? This is weird. Oh my god. But like, if I pull up a picture of him, like, I think you would know who I'm talking about. Like, just pull up a picture of the singer Tank.
I'm gonna do that later. What I'm
Yeah.
trying to say, right? What I'm trying to say is the South had a good run, but it went sideways. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, Big Crit. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Oh,
Big
I got
Crit one.
confused. I got Tank confused with TQ. All right. Wake up, Mr. Fresh Goggles is gonna be mad at me, dog.
Oh yeah, maybe you ever heard
mad
maybe
at me, bro? I'm sorry.
you heard that maybe I deserve. Maybe I
Wait a
deserve.
minute, Tank. Let me, man. Hold on. Let me look. That shit sounds.
Oh, some other girl, maybe I deserve. Want you to stay up with him all night, maybe I deserve.
It started telling me. Hold on. Yeah.
Now you got to look up a picture of him.
I know Tank.
Yeah, man. Tank is, man. I mean, that dude should have kept singing, but I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe you just lose interest, but man, that dude was.
All I'm gonna say is, look, before I get off this live, because I'm tired. I'm tired of talking about this crap era of rap. All right. Until the West get it back.
You gonna like my singing, Jerome.
Listen.
You're gonna learn to love it.
I want to hear what the next generation of East Coast will sound like.
All right.
Like its own native thing.
At this point, I don't listen to shit no more. I gave up on hip hop because it's so trash now. Like, it's trash. So I don't listen to it no more. All right. Till the East get it back or the West get it back. I'm not in it, bro. I'm not listening to that shit. And that's all I got to say about that. Why he said Kendrock?
I don't know what this dude.
Kendrock.
Oh my god! But man, this we need freaking. We're gonna try to make it civil as much as we can, but we gonna need another live stream on this, man.
What's your rapper?
We gonna do this. We gonna do this. But I'm gonna we gonna do it because I'm old. All right, you gotta understand that battle. I'm old, so I gotta just research a couple of things. How long has the Southern era of rap? When did it start exactly? And where are we right now? Because I tell you the truth, the Southern sound is what's dominating right now. It's still the Southern sound. It damn sure ain't the East Coast sound, and it ain't the West Coast sound. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I mean, it's been that way for like 2 decades, kind of now. I mean, unless you want to count people like 50 or freaking who else? That's 50, not even really.
Honestly, 50 brought it back to the East for a spell, but by the time that the Massacre came out, which was a letdown, it's like he set the bar so high for himself that he was bound to fail. How was he going to top Get Rich or Die Trying? How was he going to top that? Not with the Massacre, bitch. Get in my car.
What's that? What's some songs he came out with afterwards? He came out with that amusement park, that freaking what's that song he came out with? Have a baby by me, baby, be a millionaire.
You're not going to top Get Rich or Die.
I Get Money.
I Get Money was dope. I Get Money was dope. Yeah, I actually like that song. Like that. Yeah, like I used to try to learn like the whole lyrics of that.
It's not the 808s and Heartbreak sound, but the baddest girl I ever seen. Ain't it
That,
bad?
that 808s and Heartbreak, I think that like inspired all these mumble rappers. And
Of
T-Pain.
course it did. Of course, you see them all using this like the same beats over and over. Like, of course it was, bro. That's like, I think that's like where Kid Cudi really got like his
I
like
like
his
Kid Cudi. I
And
like.
T-Pain.
bro. Did you see the song he just dropped with Eminem?
Nah.
Oh my god, bro! Listen to it. It's amazing.
All right. I'm gonna take your word on that because I'm a big Kid Cudi. I'm a big Kid Cudi fan, man. I like that the sound that he got. I like that sound, and he made that sound. That's the other thing I like about Kid Cudi. You're not gonna listen to that type of sound from nobody else, bro. Shut up.
Kid Cudi is nice, man. Like I want to see him collaborate with Frank Ocean and freaking who else? I got to get like a third person. Like who would be a nice collaboration for Cudi, bro?
I
Because
don't know, man.
I already know him and Kanye is just amazing. It's just amazing. Him and Kanye is like the best like collaboration like just ever. But I'm trying to think who would be like a good one.
Curtis was such a trash album, bro. Oh my god, that shit was garbage.
What songs were in that one?
That's where that Have a Baby by Me shit was on. That was on Curtis, not the Massacre. The Massacre was the shit with I got no pickup lines. I
Yeah,
say
the either of y'all listen to that new J Electronica?
nah, I ain't hear that shit.
Win. Jay Electronica ain't bad. He got some good songs.
Yeah, 50
Finally released his album.
Kanye ain't on drugs, man. He got that Kardashian pussy and changed, man. It must be good though. It must be good though. I can't lie. It must be good.
Kanye lost his shit.
That's why Drake does. Like, don't. I'm not a big fan of everything Drake's come out with lately. Like that song, "I'm Upset" is so stupid to me. But like I don't it's really amazing how he can stay at the top of the game like for this amount of time. Like it's amazing, yo.
Take Care, Drake.
Bro, my favorite album is "Thank Me Later." That is mine of Drake's.
Anyway,
Bro,
look, I'm gonna get out of here talking about this trash ass shit. Shout out to Virtuoso. I appreciate that. Freddie Gibbs. I'm out this motherfucker. Southern music sucks, or at least for the most part, it sucks. Goodbye, y'all.